got one in this ear.
He can jump high, but he's the spark up forward, especially the second half of last season. And when Chris Fagan seemed to give these players a licence to express themselves a little bit more, Loman really backed that up. What a highlight to start off. You don't want to waste mark of the year in the pre-season game.
No, you'd want to be a little bit better than that one. That was good. But you look at him, you look at Logan Morris, and that's who Link McCarthy's got to win his spot back from. It's going to be really interesting when Link gets his shot at it tonight.
Signed a contract extension a couple of weeks ago, Kyle Loman, tying into the club until 2027. Highlight machine. He's terrific in the final series. Neil getting involved early. There is Lincoln McCarthy. He'll just love having some body contact and get himself back into condition. Round 8 last year was that ACL injury. I was told he was top 5 in the BNF up until that point of the season. It was interesting, Chris Fagan said that they weren't going to play him if Archie was going to play, but he certainly looks ready. It's Riley O'Brien, one of the leaders of the Crows, Soligo. Trying to burst through, but there was no room. And Laird, he's going to go back and play as a defender this season. He's a 2-time All-Australian and won a BNF. The kick from Hinge is good to Rankin. We expect to see more in the midfield this season. Neil Bullen has some runners. One of them is Worrell, and coming further ahead. You know, he's got a good right boot on him. He's going to pop this one up to the top of the square. The big boys are there. Phil Thorpe, Dara Joyce. They got the late call up for Harris Andrews. He's going to sit this one out with a bit of illness. Peatling, clever kick, top of the square. And a nice mark taken. Drifting down from the wind, Lockie Scholl.
It was a really clever kick. Sometimes you see players turn back towards the boundary, but he just had no room there, Peatling. So you put it to the top of the goal square, make it really predictable.
Thought he should have got used about 15 seconds beforehand. Yeah, got into a good place.
Coming off his career best year last year, Lockie Scholl, the 20 games. Averaged just under 22 disposals a game. There should be pretty regulation.
Yeah, right spot, right time, really unselfish play there by the Crows. You just see here, hemmed in on the boundary line, a lot of numbers around the ball. So he had to be clean. James Peatling just put it to the top of the goal square. Really strong mark overhead. That's what you deal with early on in these pre-season games. There's a lot of congestion around the ball. If you can get a little hand pass outside congestion, just hoping your outside players are set up well, and then that allows you to transition. The other thing in that play was a little hit up by Neil Bullen. That's what he can do, that little connector, knows when to lead up, catches the eyes of the kicker.
The new faces for the Adelaide Crows all involved in that passage, coming Peatling and Neil Bullen. They tie things up again. There is Will Ashcroft. Worked off it by Peatling. That's what he's in the side to do. Got it to crouch. Again goes on that left boot. There is Payne. Walker just tries to put it into the path of Phil Thorpe, who was again trying to be clever to Pedler. Another one who was ruled by injury last year. Was dropped and had shoulder problems. Just 4 games for him.
Yeah, he had a rough time of it last year, Luke Pedler. I like his kicking. He gets the ball travelling through the air really fast, really flat.
High-end draft pick 11 in 2020. Walker, who is a threat of these forward 50 stoppages, got it down to Peatling and tumbles one. Darcy Fogarty.
He's going all right, Peatling, isn't he? James Peatling, he's up to 4 possessions already. We're 3 1/4 minutes in.
There's Fletcher. Now Lester. Makes it difficult for Rayner. They made it work nicely. Strong through the hips. And they get themselves out of trouble here, Brisbane, although momentarily. There is Neil Soligo was. The pressure by Adelaide on early. Peatling.
It's a good call, Joey. Great pressure by Adelaide. I think early on, if you're Brisbane coming out of the back half, you just want a little bit of time and space to try and pick someone out, but they just had no time whatsoever early on.
Whilst the Crows were disappointed with their year last year, just 8 wins, they finished 15th after they had 11 wins the year before. Unlucky not to play finals, so they'll feel pretty good about themselves this year. Rayner again wrapped up by a couple of crows. The umpire's going to let them play. That's McKenna. Who's the sub in that premiership. It's scrappy at the moment. Finally, Ashcroft gets a good purchase. Gets it toward half forward. Hipwood. He's got it in him. He's had some groin issues over pre-season. Wants to get it moving quickly. Looking for gallop. Here's Zach Bailey. Nice front and square. And then missed the finish.
Wow. Well, it was a great run by Zach Bailey. Didn't get past the contest. And then just really anticipated quicker than his direct opponent. There's too many of those easy ones.
Mosey want to move it quickly. There, Curvis to Keane. He throws it on the right boot. There's a whistle. It's going to be against Thilthorpe.
Come back on stand.
Well, we've seen this over the last two games that we've watched this round. They want to go quick. The first quarter, both sides want to go quick. And then just really settle in.
Got 15.
Crouch taken high.
Adelaide. Stand. Move out.
Again, they look to get it moving. Dawson wastes no time to wheel and go on that beautiful left kick, left leg for Thilthorpe. He could take the mark. He's been involved a few times. Payne again wobbles one towards half forward. McCarthy puts it into the path. It was almost like a kick for Logan Morris, who couldn't keep his feet. There is Nick Murray. He's changed numbers to the number 9, Rory Sloane's old jumper number.
Yeah, the first time you go for a hit out in the season. Big Riley Thilthorpe, he looked like he's out of gas then already. You know, that first effort you give in your first game, he looks gassed already, the big fella.
Crouch to Laird. Now Rankin all the way up in the defensive 50.
Outside 5. Outside 5.
One's Pedler. Runs his full measure, and then there is that long flat kick that Dern just mentioned. Tex Walker was outnumbered. Saligo with the ground ball, and they're out goal side here. The Crows, if it sits for Keys, he was in space. Now line beating.
You can already see a little bit of the pattern in the game. Brisbane happy to take a numerical behind the ball and allow the high half forwards from Adelaide to really work up the ground. I think now what Adelaide needs to do is to really utilise that. They've been kicking long to those 2v1s a little bit too much in the early part of this game. Maybe use the numbers around the ball a little bit more.
It's Lockie Neal. He was dumped after he got rid of the handball, so we'll take him downfield.
You'll kick downfield. Back to you.
I like it in this man's hand. He's so creative off half-back.
Not set behind the mark, has to go back and take it from there.
Pipped by one vote, Dane Zorko, for winning his sixth best and fairest. Excellent again on that kick from McCluggage. Turnover. Keane sat up Zorko. Thought he'd try his luck in a pre-season game. Not sure he'd get away with that in a home and away game. Crouch. Neil Bullen. Tried to be creative, but there's Levi Ashcroft, number 10, onto the field. And Saligo went low and hard and will get himself a free kick.
He's running pretty hard, Jakey Saligo. Sons the lockets this year. I think his mum was a hairdresser, wasn't she? She used to colour his hair, but he's gone for the short side.
He's looking at you, Joey.
He's no colour. It's more into Peninsula boy.
He's growing by the ear, isn't he, Jake Saligo?
Well, he started on the bench. I think he might have been sub round one last year, and he ended up being, at times, clearly their most effective midfielder.
Finished third in the best and fairest. He won a showdown medal.
Good kick.
As I said, he was in terrific form last week, and he continues that on early. Crows have got 2.
It was really a breakout season for him last year, wasn't it? As you say, Joey, third in the best and fairest. I think you can never question his toughness. I think the pre-season leading into last year, he had a really good pre-season, then a few injuries, I think, on the eve of the season maybe held him back, but he built into the season really nicely.
Yeah. That free kick too, he didn't duck his head. He's allowed to bend for the ball, as everyone is, and then he keeps driving forward without coming up. So that then becomes the onus on the tackler. It's when you come back up and then you go back down. That's when you're open.
Turned 22 last month, Jake Saligo. young Crows that fans are hoping can take the next step, get them into the finals picture.
But Levi Ashcroft in for the first time tonight on the right-hand side of the screen.
Set now.
Both Ashcroft boys into this centre bounce. Thilthorpe clearly got over the top of Sam Day. And in the end, the Lions win the centre clearance. Dunkley towards half forward. Well done from Dan Curvis. One of these youngsters who did somewhat of a breakout last year. Played the 20 games. Looking to cement his spot.
You see how big they're making the ground at the moment. Really working hard to be options forward of the ball.
Dawson come to this broadcast side. Another beautiful kick.
What a stunning kick.
Walker wants it into the pocket. Coming in the end obliges, but they weren't quite on the same page. And there's just a bit of chemistry with a new player.
Yeah. But I mean, that kick from Dawson off half-back, when the ground is so big, really difficult to defend.
Zach Bailey moved up to the wing in the final series last year. Was instrumental in some of those games as Levi Ashcroft just tried to poke it up for Hipwood. His brother cleans up the mess. Will Ashcroft will get it back. Assessed his options. He had something on short. He decided to go longer. Logan Morris did it nicely and then does the unselfish thing. Beautiful kicking board for Berry.
It's just that low dart, isn't it, Dern? The kick around the body.
Well, I did see the Crows defender who flung a boot at it. You're all in on that. You've got to make sure you make contact. If it gets behind you, as it did, then you're open for a goal.
It's another relatively straightforward shot at goal for the Brisbane Lions. Makes no mistake. They're back in front.
Alistair Lynch, it looks like that'll be a nice place to spend the evening up on that balcony behind the goals up there as we saw that one go through.
Yeah, certainly would be. Unfortunately, I'm not up there. I think Brownie might be venturing up there shortly, but no, it's a good spot up there. I think you touched on it. The forward line, some youngsters up there for the Brisbane Lions. Logan Morris has already shown in this first quarter. He's trimmed off. He's got a different body shape to the one that debuted after 6 nuggets and a frappe halfway through the year. But he looks like he's going along quite nicely and getting involved early.
We heard from Coach Chris Fagan. Just going to have a good look at what the forward mix will look like in 2025. No Joe Danaher. Ty Gallop's been a name that has been doing some really nice things. Logan Morris going to be a beauty.
Looks a good size, doesn't he, Ty Gallop?
Does Loman and Rayner have to potentially play a bit taller? All these things they will work out in this premiership defence. There is Logan Morris again. Loman, so creative around goal. This time decides to have a ping. Just missed.
A clever tap by Hipwood as well. You hear the voice of Loman.
Outside 5.
You made a mention there, Cam Rayner. He actually does play like a centre-half forward. When he plays in the front end, he genuinely plays as a key forward. He's just so dangerous at ground level as well.
Hipwood's little dinky kick didn't go the required distance, but Jasper Fletcher really nicely to get out of trouble. And here's Levi Ashcroft again. We had a stack of footy last week. Loman, the second highlight of the first quarter.
That's better than the first one.
It was on hinge, a little bit higher.
Settle down. They've played 10 minutes. And he kicks it to the top of the square. There's another fly. It was Berry. Neil Pullen has to get back and support the defence because they're under pressure here. Cameron couldn't keep it in.
Gee, look casual, young Scholl chasing into the boundary then. But let's have another look at this. Early jump. Do you see that 3 steps back? He looks sideways and he says, right, I've worked out the angle of your body and I'll jump now. He's a very clever player.
He's kicked 4 goals in that grand final. Maybe he's just going to be one to take his game to the next level this season. McCluggage just laid it into the path cleverly, and now Levi Ashcroft again, who's been involved.
Saw Levi play a lot of his junior footy, well, one season 2 years ago it was. Yeah, very clever around the goals. Really smart.
argue the best kid to come out of the draft. Brisbane got him at pick 5 is Dawson again.
How good is that kick? They are at breakneck speed, and he's passed the ball 65 metres there.
Rankin just created space into the pocket, and Pedler decided to just pop it over there and allow Rankin to see what he could create from this tough angle.
That's why you get blokes to your club and you pay them dollars when they can kick the ball like that. That kick was a bullet, and Pedler didn't have to break stride.
Just got a bit of the belly of the ball, and in the end, Tex Walker kept his eye on it. He's able to outmark Darren Joyce. Normally pretty good Tex from this situation. 641 AFL goals since 30th all time.
Shouldn't pose too many problems for him, should it?
It's normally bread and butter. He hits the post.
It was always going to happen, wasn't it?
There's always one. Well, I think you're right, Dean, in terms of their ball movement off half-back. It needs to be a big improvement in the Adelaide game this year. So whether they can get the ball in Dawson's hand as much as they possibly can. Hipwood off the one step. There's a nice mark, Josh Worrell. Hoping for a full season out of this highly talented youngster. It's 25 games over the last 2 seasons.
They've got a few of these boys that float through the back line now, haven't they? They're 192, 3, 4, 5. Good size, good aerialists.
Yeah, Max Michaelani, another one who's not playing tonight. He's got a thumb injury. Should be okay for round 1. Mitch Hinge. There's Laird. And then Curvis. Another one of those sort of mid to tall defenders. Another short little kick from the Brisbane Lions, again chopped off. Just being a little bit cute at times, and umpire will ball it up. As I mentioned earlier, no Harris Andrews for the Brisbane Lions tonight, laid out. He's not feeling his best. Archie being managed with a bit of a tight calf. Of course, Kadeen Coleman and Tom Dudo we hope to see at some stage this year as well for the Lions as Rayner. It's a good purchase on the left boot. Charlie Cameron wanted to keep it in, but Hugh Bond had other ideas. The Crows are in pretty good health.
Look out.
As we mentioned, Laird's going to get pinged here.
Yeah, he's pleading his case, but if you absorb the first tackle and you turn away from it, and a second tackler comes in, you're hot.
Thanks, guys. Charlie, keep coming out.
And it'll be Josh Dunkley, who laid more tackles than any other player in the competition last season. He'll get the free kick, 167 of them. Now a 2-time premiership player. Of course, one of the Western Bulldogs. Third the best and fairest last season. Such an important part of this midfield. Again, another shot for Brisbane from point-blank range. They got their third.
Do you think they will play differently, given that Joe Danaher really was a focal point? Eric Hipwood is tall, seriously tall, but he's not a focal point player. He almost plays like a flanker. Will they change to the way they play? That's Sam Day copying a knee in the back of the head. Here's takes care of the first one. Charlie comes in. You've been pinged.
Not 15. I don't think so. No, I think there's too many moving parts if you were to change the way the whole team plays. More from an offensive point of view, I think they've tried to find players out there, and Sam Day is one of those players to fill that position, understand that he'll never be at the level that Joe Danaher is. But no, I don't think one player out changes the way. They've just won a flag.
Yep.
So I think it'll be much the same. Crouch will win the clearance. Dawson just took a little bit too long. Yeah, that's good pressure, isn't it? A great run-down tackle from Cameron. I mean, you love the first pre-season match, you get a chance to play opposition. You love to see that from your senior players.
He came into the shot real quick, didn't he?
Big shot. It's flushed in the screen. A switch kick to Leicester is a good one, and then that one not so good.
I'm still getting my head around the fact that Ryan Lester is a rookie.
Yeah.
It's just, he's been such a good player for them.
Probably had his
Best ever season last year. He was 6th in the best and fairest.
And he's made him a rookie.
Turns 33 in August. One of the many great stories to come out of the premiership win for the Brisbane Lions last season.
That's a fine. Play on.
And here is Nick Murray. Another one will be hoping for some good luck with injury this season. That was a kick that just went a bit too far for coming out of bounds on the full again. Kick into the pocket, Rayner. He stayed down when everyone flew. Again, tried to be unselfish. It's been a feature of their first quarter from Brisbane. Bailey loves to twist and turn and create, but this time just keeps it simple. And Zorko tries to go laterally, finds Fletcher, who sees a bit of grass, sold some candy on coming, but he was legged and he'll get the free kick. I like that. Take the game on. He's shown that in the early part of his career. He's not afraid to take on the tackler. Famous number 3.
Push across there, will I? Yeah. Coming forward, right quick. Keep coming.
Already kicked 1 goal in this game, Jasper Fletcher.
Why not?
I'm looking for a big season. Oh, just laid back on that. Drifts across the face. Had the better of the last 10 minutes or so, the Brisbane Lions. For a fast start by the Crows. It's been played predominantly down the Brisbane Lions forward half. Is Morris. Puts on a little move on Fogarty. And the handball didn't go anywhere. We'll go back to Darcy Fogarty. Sending to the 5-man leadership group. A slow burn, but he continues to get better every season. This kick again towards Phil Thorpe. Zorko looks like he threw that one back to Dunkley.
So just the read on it so far, they've gone inside forward 50 10 times, Brisbane, for 8 shots. 3 goals fired. 3 shots from 8 for the Crows. They're not finding as easier access to the goal face.
It seems like they're going into... So Brisbane are going into a lot of numbers, which helps you retain possession, give yourself another shot on goal. I think the fast ball movement from Adelaide off half back is just mean they're going into 1v1, 2v1, which is allowing Brisbane to bounce out.
And once it's hitting the deck, they're not actually winning too many of them inside forward 50.
Crouch. Another clearance. Soligo. The beautiful little move in between 2 towards Philthorpe this time. It was only going to be a matter of time until he plucked one. He gets a genuine one-on-one. Soligo just taking the ball forward, not looking for that extra handball. He looks mean.
It looks like a wood chopper. Down from the hills. He's big and he's tough. Hope he has a good run at it.
Of course, had that meniscus injury in his knee last pre-season. Restricted him to just playing the last 7 games of last year, and gee, he looked good when he came back. He kicked the 15 goals. Another one hoping for a big season. Just hung there out to the left ever so slightly. Brisbane want to get it moving.
Every time you see Jackson Payne, you say, gee, he's big, isn't he? He stands next to Riley Tilton. You say, oh, he's average. Such a big man.
Tex took a couple of steps over the mark. Gotta get out of the road. A couple of wily old veterans, Ryan Lester and Tex Walker.
How did that get called play on? They were running in a straight line.
Dane Zorko, All-Australian from last season, disposal number 7. Josh Dunkley leading the way with 9 disposals and a goal. Peatling, Laird and Crouch. 6 early for the Crows.
Just started to stifle their progress with the ball coming forward now, Adelaide Crows. Stifling Brisbane's progress.
Terrific kick from the youngster. That opens up the whole field now for Wilmot. Fletcher's owned that outer side. Zorko drives it deep inside 50 into the pocket. Keane got the fist.
Now ground level. Lohman. Bailey. Off a standing start. That's a clever finish.
I think it was really clever, Derm. I think what you see is different modes that this Brisbane side can play. We understand that they can play really fast, but just waiting for the opportunity for something to pop up, in which Ashcroft did. Found a really good kick, and then the ball just stayed in motion. Makes it really hard for the Adelaide defenders to get set. A couple of really clever plays, and Zach Bailey was the one that was able to finish. I liked it. You don't need to go fast goal to goal, but you just need to keep changing the angles, keeping the ball in motion, get the ball forward to give your forwards an opportunity.
It was definitely that kick which came inboard on the 45, which opened the door up.
Wilmot,
yeah.
That's this one. That's this one.
Looked really composed as well when the ball's gone inside 50, these Brisbane forwards. And feeling really confident about themselves. Will Ashcroft decided to bump instead of tackle. Might have been the right option. He did win possession. The Crows will get it back. Crouch coming, Nankervis. Had himself enough time and space, did it nicely, and then goes wide, really wide. Out of bounds.
Benny Keys has been out there the whole time. He hasn't touched it yet, Keys. He's been one of their
Unusual for him.
better players for a couple of years.
Coming off the best and fairest, equal winner of the best and fairest with Jordan Dawson last year.
There he is, number 2, middle of the screen.
Saligo going up against Lockie Neal. Crouch been busy. Peatling's been busy also. From the junction of the 50 and the boundary line, not sure if he was going for goal or trying to get it to Thilthorpe. And out of bounds.
That Logan Morris, he's come down a fair way.
Playing right.
Yeah, wow.
I know McInerney's there as well.
Yeah. Well, they got 14 in there. So.
Those players usually come down to be the player behind the ball, but Brisbane have already got 2.
Yeah, I think his opponent's getting right down and dangerous. Come forward, so he's obligated to go follow him and make sure he's not just loose behind the pack.
Crows will be looking to see if they can just jag one inside the final minute of this quarter. Murray stuck out the 1 minute, couldn't take it. Rayner just wants to clear the area. Brisbane have got all their numbers back. They know there's only 30 seconds left in the quarter. Laird. Warren could have gone on his left, instead went wider to Keane with composure. And now Saligo. He's going to go with that 3-quarter kick, but Brisbane, as we said, have all the numbers back there. Shoal. Can he find something late? Unselfish kick, clever and smart, and finds Crouch.
Allison, it looks like Brisbane pushed every player down inside their defensive 50 on that last play, yet they still found a loose one.
Back to Lynchy.
Second, might have gone upstairs. Check out the balcony.
Crouch. And a really nice quarter. He's led the way with 8 disposals. Can he finish with a little bit of momentum from straight in front? He's pushed it. He can't. So it'll be the Brisbane Lions, the reigning premiers. They lead by 14 points at quarter time. Lohman with a couple of highlights to kickstart this one. And of course, remember, all the shows are back and returning Monday at 7:30. The all new looking On the Couch. Jack Rewalt will be there.
All right, there we go. G'day, folks. Caden, how you going? Tina and everyone else listening into this game today up from Brighton Homes Arena. They're in Ipswich, where the Brisbane Lions, nice opening quarter, 4-5-29, lead the Adelaide Crows 2-3-15. Well, there you go. Adelaide, I had a chance on the siren, the snare a goal, but faded to the left of the goalpost. A little bit disappointing there for that miss, or it would have brought them back within 9. But so far, it's a 14-point ball game. Brisbane Lions look pretty good in the opening quarter, finding plenty of run, tagging up their players and getting a few targets, finding a little bit more space up in their forward 50, whereas Adelaide Just not quite as easy for them up in their forward 50. But it's a hot, balmy night up there in Brisbane, of course. Must be up somewhere around 25, I would imagine, up there at the moment. So it's a pretty hot, warm night for AFL football. I'm sure they'll run out the first couple of quarters pretty well, and it'll probably slow down a little bit in the second, probably intensify in the last if it's a close game. See who wins. Just have a little bit of a look at the lineup, since we never got to that in the opening. Ainsworth, Payne, Lester were the fullbacks for Brisbane. Zorko, Joyce, Wilmot, halfbacks. Fletcher, McCluggage, don't forget your luggage. Berry, centre. Half forwards, Cameron, Morris, Rayner. Forwards, Lohman, Day and McCarthy. The followers, McInerney, Dunkley, Lockie, Neal. And of course, the Adelaide Crows, the fullbacks were Worrell, Keane, Bond. Halfbacks were Hinge, Murray, Laird. Cumming, Dawson, Scholl. The centres, the half forwards, Keys, Thilthorpe, and Neil Bullen. The forwards, Peatling, Fogarty and Tex, Taylor, Walker. The followers were O'Brien, Ranky and Soligo. Let's go and have a little bit of a look at the goal scorers so far in the opening term. And of course, for the Brisbane Lions, who lead this, Jasper Fletcher, all singles. Dunkley, Jared Berry and Zach Bailey all have singles. For Adelaide Crows, just the two goal scorers there, Jack Soligo and Lachlan Scholl, the only two goal scorers so far. Let's have a look at the leading play with the disposal count on the ground. Of course, for those folks not quite sure, the disposal count is the kicks and handballs combined, and that's Josh Dunkley there for the Brisbane Lions. And Matt Crouch both lead the way with 9 disposals apiece. Dane Zorko having a good first quarter, as Lockie Neal both with 8. So the big guns certainly firing up and doing their job for the Brisbane Lions. The reigning premiers in the opening quarter here, Jake Soligo, James Peatling and Rory Laird for the Crows, all on 7. Let's just roll down a little bit and you can see how your plays are going. Isaac Ranky, 5 disposals there. Luke Nankervis, 5 disposals there for the Crows. Let's go and see. Eric Hitwood forward there for the Lions, just the 5 disposals. No score yet. Will Ashcroft also on 5. Let's just keep rolling down here. Who else have we got there? Taylor Walker. There we go. He's only had the 2 touches, 1 handball, 1 kick. Hit the post for a behind for him. Of course, Rolly Thilthorpe looks like a good target up there for Adelaide. 2 disposals, just the 1 behind as well. And of course, Sam Day there, 2 disposals for Brisbane Lions. Charlie Cameron a little bit slow there this evening, just with the 2 touches there for the Lions, 2 kicks. He's had a mark and a tackle also. So that is the stats for your players there. Let's just have a look at the team stats up until quarter time. And it's the Brisbane Lions lead by 20 overall in the disposal count. Kicks 63-48, 37-32, 5 up to the Lions. Inside 50, both teams inside 50 11 times for Brisbane's 9 scoring shots. So they're going extremely well there for their inside 50s. Adelaide Crows 5 scoring shots for their inside 50s. We'll head back down to the ground and we'll be taking back very shortly to the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, whereas the Lions by 14 points.
Some of the new faces doing well for the Adelaide Crows, including James Peatling. We get down to the boundary line to Alistair Lynch and Jonathan Brown, and we always want to touch on Kai Lohman.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 27 degrees here, 30 minutes west of Brisbane, in perfect conditions. And Brownie, perfect conditions for this young man, Kai Lohman, who's coming off a great season last year. He played 27 games, 36 goals, and it was a highlight reel.
He was. He's wasted a couple early in the pre-season games. 2 absolute beauties, mark of the day contender. No question about that. 4 in the grand final. He's a star. Part of the greater conversation about who's going to replace Joe Danaher. Brisbane with their mediums have got great aerial capability.
That's right. He will launch himself at the contest, no doubt about that, as Cam Rayner. And Derm, you spoke about it in the first quarter. Cam's probably the most natural key forward, as strange as that may sound, but he's probably your height, Derm, and he knows how to draw the ball deep and launches himself at packs.
A bit tougher than Derm, though, isn't he?
If not, we goes a bit harder than Derm.
They all are.
Second quarter about to get underway. As the boys touch on, perfect conditions, big crowd. Coming out to see the champs, the Brisbane Lions, Rankin. Great to see him at the centre bounce. Great to see him waxing with Jordan Dawson, who uncharacteristically tumbles one towards half forward, but it was Tex that gave away the free kick.
Just needs to find the ball onto his foot a little bit more, Jordan Dawson. Only 3 kicks, 4 possessions first quarter, but when he gets it, it's so good.
Big pack of players competing in this one. Murray got good purchase on the fist. But Neil Bullen, Peatling, he's been busy. And he's wrapped up again. This time by Dane Zorko.
He just did the blind turn a little early.
Zorko tries to bite it off. More times than not it works. It did then, but Rainer's handball was picked off. Hinge underground for Fogarty. Sweeps the forward handball. Neil Bullen working with Crouch. And now coming outside of the boot. Phil Thorpe in a one-on-one. Can he get Brute the ball? Well done by Payne.
We're right out protected area now.
An aggressive kick by Zorko, but if that was through, Brisbane were away. Adelaide just need to keep it in their front half. Now create more opportunities, don't allow Brisbane to transition the ball out.
Scoring was an issue for the Crows last season after being the best team in the competition in 2023. They're just trying to regain a bit of that mojo on offence. Laird, strong tackle.
That's good. That's good by both teams there. Adelaide especially held the ball in. Ball went to hands cleanly 3 times in that passage, yet the Crows were able to tackle pressure-wise, keep it where on the space of the ground.
There is Dawson again. Get a few metres and another free kick. Zach Bailey didn't want to take the advantage. Zorko sees some players out in space. One of them's Jared Berry. The goal in that opening term and puts him to the path that Hitwood.
It was a good run by Hitwood. Realised that he had to be the player to spread to create an option. You can see here, this is the patient build-up that Brisbane did a couple of times in the first quarter.
Starcevic. Dunkley now wants to drive it in deep. McInerney set himself. Worrell got the crumb. Now Scholl. Might come back in though. This is what Brisbane do better than any other team. They get repeat entries. They build the pressure. Starcevic. Again McInerney and Gallup will fly.
And that's what the slower ball movement allows you to do. We talk about layers of defence. So when Adelaide look up and they've got forward pressure coming on them, they need to get rid of the ball. Starcevic was in a really good position to be able to rebound back inside forward 50.
And some of the talent at McInerney's feet here. McCluggage, Neal, the Ashcroft boys, but and Curvis did well. Phil Thorpe, that was a good pick up for a big man at his knees. Rankin wasn't rushed. Brisbane just seemed to have so many numbers around the ball. Fogarty again.
You're right with Rankin. He doesn't rush himself because he knows that if they charge him, he's got the agility to just sidestep. So he's almost got himself a half second of time out of reputation.
Here's Lockie Neal. Just pumps that one blindly. David Worrell. They want to try and switch and go here now, the Crows.
He's up to the 5 clearances, Lockie Neal. They are forcing them wide, Brisbane. They're really clogging up the corridor with a lot of numbers, forcing them wide and allowing those outlets to be closed down.
Lockie Neal's CV was probably the only thing missing on that CV was that premiership. 2 Brownlows, 4 All-Australians, now 6 best and fairest. A wonderful career. I feel he's still got a few years left in him. Bailey. There's Levi to Will. To Hitwood, who should give it back. Instead, he wants to snap around himself on the left.
He had to give it back, Joey. How about the waxing between the brothers? He could have nearly run into an open goal, Derm.
That's worth a verbal clip.
Starcevic, another strong tackle. Had a few of those in this game. He also had an interrupted pre-season with a quad injury.
out of contract at the end of this year, Starcevic. Just went for the long hit from McInerney to the outside if he can get a runner. Rory Land read it well. There's Dan Curtin trying to get involved. Number 6. Played a bit of wing in the trial game last week against Port Adelaide, as well as deep forward. 7 games in his debut season. We feel another one that's going to get every opportunity for some any spot. Peatling been solid. Rankin to Dawson. This is the man. You want the ball in his hands, and that's why the kick to advantage for Phil Thorpe was beautiful. And he wastes no time, although it's going to hang in the air. Pedler felt the pressure. In the end, was a bit lucky to get the free kick.
Yep. In the end, the inferred pressure made him drop it. Once again, a beautiful kick by Dawson. That practice match from last week, I turned the TV on to watch that. Oh, during the middle of the afternoon, turned back on at midnight. It was still going.
Yeah. Played 6 periods.
So they would have got pretty tired, I would have thought.
Pedler, as we mentioned, one of these players, there's a lot of depth now to this Adelaide Crows side. Their best forwards. There's no Rochelle tonight. So Pedler gets a chance. He knows his chances no harm. He's got that one.
Very compact kicking action, hasn't he? There's not a lot that can go wrong with it. This is the kick. Bang. He spots the most likely side to put the ball to advantage, and he just nails it. Yeah, there's a bit of contact there, and he's back on the ball.
It's Geordie, probably one thing, when you look at this Adelaide side this year, they do have depth in a lot of areas now, just by bringing in those new additions. So there is Rochelle, Pedler, Keys and Neil Bullen will play half forward. Lockie Murphy's probably out of favour now, so they've got the small forwards. They've got a bit more depth in the midfield, and by sending Rory Laird back and a couple of other players, they have plenty of options now. They can try and pick their best 23.
Yeah, it seemed like a real strategy probably 4 or 5 years ago, didn't it? Just to play these young kids and get experience into them. And I think last year we talked about the injuries to Rankin and even Thilthorpe. They were really unlucky. But I think now it's a year for Adelaide to really have expectation and to push for that final spot. They've spent a lot of time developing this list. They've added a few experienced players around them. And there should be some expectations on this side now.
And there's one of them coming. Saligo. Picked off by Starcevic. Yeah, so you talk about that list build. So they've gone as an age profile, 18th, 18th, 16th, 14th. This year they jumped to 8th.
Yeah.
So they're the 8th oldest team in the competition by bringing some of that experience. And a lot of these younger players have now had 3, 4, 5 years under their belt. So they should be ready to go.
So there was a time in that 3-4 year period ago where they just couldn't kick the ball. You just had to get players like Dawson, like Rochelle in your recruits into the club to make sure you retained the footy.
Here's Hugh Bond. There's the hard-running Neil Bullen. Has to try and get out of the Dunkley tackle, not easy. Got it back to Bond. Hinge. It's a little underground. Got it back to Neil Bullen. He just pops it up. There's the right man to kick it to, Rankin.
Bit switch, mate, bit switch.
Sure he has the journey, so in the end just lays it up beautifully to Tex.
Nice little tick lead from Tex. He sold it to the defender as if he was going back towards the goal square. But they made a mistake, but I like how they cleaned up the mistake. They got numbers over the ball. Neil Bullen got over there, just allowed them to keep continuing that play.
Tex Walker will play game 278 in round 1 against St Kilda, which will take him 5th all time for the Adelaide Crows. Can reach 300 if he plays the majority of the season, and straight at the post. Zorko again looking to bite off plenty straight down the middle. He'll come back. High ball from Saligo. Fogarty set himself. Crows try and lock it in. Get some pressure. Hinge. Again, happy just to throw it on the boot. Phil Thorpe coming back.
Well, Pedler's got a knee in the run. Still waiting to get up.
You're going to stand under the bottom of some of these packs in the forward line with Fogarty and Phil Thorpe. You're going to cop one.
There's a bit of weight in those packs now, isn't there?
Some size. There's another Brisbane line play down as well. That is Brandon Starcevic. He might have copped a knee as well. Looks in a bit of pain, doesn't he? There, yeah.
Stay out, Al. Yep.
Take a look at the replay.
There you go. There you go.
Just, the double cannon. So he will.
Yes, the initial contact from Daniel Curtin, which pushes Starcevic
Into Pedler.
Yeah.
He's been a little bit of talk over the pre-season about pushing players into the pack.
Yeah.
There was the Jimby
Also,
incident in a trial game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's dangerous.
Baylor from Richmond, yeah. And I don't think there's intended malice in it, but it is a technique to try and make sure your opponent doesn't mark the ball. But it is dangerous. You cannot take away from the fact that players do get injured from it. Because it's the one of the few times you are completely and utterly imbalanced and vulnerable.
So he'll come off for a head assessment. So I believe Will Ashcroft has come off for a head assessment as well. So just in the last couple of minutes, a couple of lines will get checked by the docs. It's their first game is only 7 days away, so if there is any concussion, they'll be ineligible for opening round as Phil Thorpe kicks truly. So there will be a bit of a watch at the moment on a couple of lines.
Let's have a look at
the Will Ashcroft one, Derm. Yeah, let's take a look at this from a few minutes ago. Also, just on the head, it's better. Just a cut, hopefully.
One of those hard-looking heads, Rory Laird, hasn't he?
See, they're getting patched up and hopefully right to come back on. And might be a bit more of a concern about this one with Brandon Starcevic.
Curtin bump.
Yeah, I don't think there's any malice in that one. You could see where Curtin's eyes were. They were up on the ball, trying to protect the drop of the ball. So I think you're right. If it was a deliberate push into an opponent where you knew what was coming, that's the one that we don't necessarily want in the game. But young Curtin had eyes for the ball. As have done one, I think kicked out well here. They've kicked the only 2 goals of this second quarter. Levi Ashcroft getting plenty of ball already. Lohman been lively. Had a good little period, Adelaide, haven't they? Just to be able to retain the ball in their front half, get front half stoppages or turnovers, and then convert that into a couple of goals early on in this quarter. Levi Ashcroft up to 7 disposals. Day palms it down. Rayner gave it up for a better option for Lohman, who just didn't screw it around enough.
Yeah, Rankin's had a little bit of the footy in the last few moments, and Tilthorpe's actually been a really good target the last couple of entries they've gone in.
Well done by Darcy Wilmot. Got that out of bounds. 5th in the best and fairest last season. He's played every game, all 56, since he debuted in that elimination final in 2022.
Love him in your team. There's not a lot of finesse about him, the lad, but gee, has a go, he's a ripper.
Soligo went without it.
That's good hands from young Ashcroft.
Neil left it behind. And now the Crows are out and running. He could have given the handball, instead wants to get it inside 50. Dawson's having a rest deep forward. Leicester able to mop it up and get the relieving kick to Noah Answorth.
That's on 5.
It's just the balance, isn't it?
Yep.
You can tell they were wanting to get the ball deep inside their forward 50 this quarter. Realise where the numbers are around the ball. Crows been able to force Brisbane to kick long down the line. McCarthy read it better than everyone. Tried to go looking for Hipwood. Chopped off by Nick Murray.
Got to punch that kick. Trust your skills, low and flat.
Oh, Keane tried to be aggressive. He misled. Opens the door for Wilmot. He tried to be unselfish. He went looking for the youngster in Gallup.
There's a few kicks in this passage we'd want again.
Well, the kicking side was on. It's just a poor kick.
Oh, the target was, that was
there.
good. Yeah. We'll take that. Just got to hit it. See Charlie at the back of the pack here.
They're so dangerous inside 50 here, the Lions.
I know, they just
so
get
many threats.
They get behind the stoppage and then they just get on the run.
Whack. They go through. Hasn't touched the ball yet this quarter, Charlie Cameron. He'll come off his foot. I think McCarthy thinks so. You always try and scunge an easy one if you're the nearest, don't you?
Zorko and Dunkley continue to lead the way, 12 disposals apiece. Matt Crouch, 11, and Josh Worrell with the 10. McCluggage. Hinge will sit under it. No one coming at him, but he's just felt the perceived pressure. They still might get themselves out of trouble, although Brisbane, Rayner, taken by Walker.
Did you hear the effects, Mike, there of the umpire? He spoke to the other umpire and he said ducked. They're communicating between the refs.
Of course, different preparations for these two teams. Adelaide don't play their first game until March 16, so they've got 17 days until their opener. Brisbane, we know, playing next Thursday night against the Cats.
It's a quick turnaround, isn't it, from the grand final?
Yeah, actually, that's going to be a cracking game, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that was one of the great preliminary finals last year, the Geelong-Brisbane prelim at the MCG, wasn't it?
Yep.
So they'll look to meet again. And just interesting looking at the way the teams are going. So Brisbane are rotating some more numbers. They're playing more of the interchange bench, but at the moment, Adelaide, Murray, that's Toby Murray, the younger brother of Nick Murray, Sid Draper, Murphy and Chase Jones yet to come onto the field. So they're trying to play more of their best 22, the Crows. Brisbane are happy to use more rotations, keep some freshness in the legs. Crouch to Peatley. A combination we've called a number of times so far. And that kick will work for Tex, who always likes to wheel and go. Pops it up for Dawson. He tried to use the body, painted really well to affect the spoil and not give away the free kick. Happy to see that out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in, isn't it? Just at the front, not allowing the ball to get over the back to Dawson. Ben Keys was on the run as well. He's yet to touch the ball down. He still hasn't had a position.
Still hasn't got on the map.
Continue to see Tex doing a lot of the ruck work inside forward 50.
And he's pretty good at it.
A lot of players around this one. Neil, so quick with those hands to Charlie Cameron. He's come a long way up the field to get a touch this quarter. Murray. Oh, tried to go in ball. It was picked off by young Gallup, who's got space inside 50. He sees the grass. He tries to skin it through. Just didn't quite get the line right.
Gee, he read it well though, didn't he? He read it really well. He knew Adelaide wanted to change the angle, get it away from congestion.
It's the youngster they're all spruiking that might get the call up to replace Joe Danaher. Kicked 4 in a intra-club. Kicked 3 last week against Port Adelaide.
And the eyes lit up too. He did have the support car vehicle just tagging along. Oh, is that not? No. Yeah, he did have the support there running along. There's the eyes lit up. Yeah, it is going to be 50.
Delayed call from the umpire, but in the end probably the right call.
It wasn't 50, then he must have got overruled.
See the area he's walking in from. He's going to... That's a good 50.
Again, being so unselfish inside 50 tonight, the Lions. Neil just happy with more options if he wants at the moment.
Except for Eric.
Just the one from Eric, but yeah, gave it off to the youngster in Lohman.
You can't blame him.
Push out 2 metres, thank you.
Lohman, 36 goals last season. 9 throughout the finals campaign. He's taken a couple of nice marks and now he's got a goal to go with it. Spoke about his grand final, Dirt. He was terrific in that first half in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Some clutch goals. He loved the big stage. We thought he would. He didn't disappoint. One stage even some talk about a Norm Smith that through that second quarter he was maybe in calculations. And
I think somewhere along his career, he's never going to be the linchpin up for it, but I think somewhere in his career he'll kick a 50.
Could be this season. Kyle Lohman coming into his own, 21 years of age, 4th year.
Stay fit, stay in form.
I'll kick some big scores again, you'd think Brisbane.
And they're back out by 9 points. Dawson. Outworked Will Ashcroft and now Hinge. He's had a bit of footy.
Well read.
For Soligo. Payne. He's been pretty good coming. Well, initially going to handball it. Decided against it, then tried to tap that back into play, and Soligo's going to get pinged.
There was a time when that initial handball he was at, there was a time when that was throwing the ball. We just accept the accidents now.
He'll go off to Zorko. Yeah. Zach Bailey. Brisbane drop into their control mode. They'll just spread the field. Try and find a free player. Some more uncontested marks per game than any other team last year. Crows do well, so force them down the line. Loman flew early. Murray. He's taking a few intercept marks.
Yeah.
It's the second one, though. He's turned over going into the corridor. And opens the door again here for the Lions.
Nick Murray's done a few good things tonight, but just game read, he's just been a touch off.
Neil pokes it up into the pocket. Loman again, being dangerous, just took a little bit too long on that occasion. Well done there, Curvis.
He thought he'd disappeared. He's a good watch though, isn't he, Kai Loman? Entertaining.
So many threats inside that forward 50. Wherever you look, tall, smalls, mediums. Of course, no Calamarchi. It was a real surprise packet of the finals campaign last year. Here's Darcy Fogarty. Speaking of goals, led the Crows last year with 41. That's a low, flat ball. Terrific kick for Tex. Posts with one in the first quarter. Makes no mistake there. And the Crows peg back the margin to 3.
It all started with a tackle in the back pocket for the Adelaide Crows, and it was just a really good display of kicking. It started with Dawson off half back, allowed them to transition the ball, but that is just a kick that gets there really quickly.
It's a beautiful kick.
Really hard to defend.
Fogarty.
I think Fogarty, Dawson, and even Tex, if they get the ball and they're able to penetrate by foot, they're a much better side.
The thing I've liked about this evening so far, only 5 on the board, but all the key forwards have actually had their moments, and they're showing that they've got a real appetite for it. Tex has done a few things, same with Darcy Fogarty on that occasion. Riley Thilthorpe's been a threat when he's up there.
Shelley will step back into that forward line. Just out with a corky at the moment. Just taking some precautions with him as the Lions go back to go forward. Answorth, that's a high ball. Try and sit under that one. Cumming couldn't take the mark. McInerney tumbles towards half forward. Logan Morris almost had the sharp hands, but worried out of it by Nan Curvis. And then Brisbane for some great tackle pressure when it back. Logan Morris. Oh, they're queuing up everywhere. Lockie Neal somehow snuck out the back, and he'll kick one of the easiest goals of his career.
Yeah, well, he was on Peatling at the centre bounce. You could just see there, Peatling threw his head back. He allowed him to get goal side as the ball was transitioning down. Really good tackle there. This is the ability to play on from a turnover like that. Realise when you've got a numerical advantage forward of the ball.
Until Lloyd got, until he got tackled there, Peatling was actually in the game. Had he not been tackled, if he had been able to flick that ball forward.
He looks ready to go though, Lockie Neal. He hasn't missed a beat.
Just a regular first half for Lockie Neal, isn't it?
See how much last year. I mean, he had a fantastic season last year, but how much the foot really gave him trouble.
Yeah, there are all the stories that we find out afterwards. For 10 weeks he was carrying a significant heel injury.
Really sore at times.
He's had a bit of a slower start to the pre-season, but you would not know it. Has not missed a beat. A champ, Lockie Neal.
Well, Ashcroft looks in a bit like just rolled his ankle.
But Oscar felt the tackle go high, thought No, I'll get value for money here.
Beatling will come out wide to Murray. Let's see what he does with this disposal.
Rankin got into good space there.
It's a better kick to Rankin. As Scholl. I thought about it. He had to give that.
Yeah.
Allow Scholl break the lines and really cause some instability. It's a good kick by Rankin, but I still think they miss an opportunity with that particular play.
I mean, it's a great kick in the end, and it's going to work out. It's a tough angle, but I agree with you. It puts, for that moment, it puts momentary panic into the back line.
It's in the hands of young Dan Curtin, just his second disposal for the night. He's played the 7 games last season, half of them were as a sub. Another one who's trying to press his claim for a spot in the forward line.
Somebody's doing a kookaburra call to try and put off all the Crows when they're lining up at goal.
Push that across the face. Worked on that occasion.
I've heard it. They've done it several times tonight already.
Zorko's been ultra aggressive. A lot of his kicks out of the back half. These couple a bit more conservative. He's a bird lover, Derm.
Ornithologist.
Back to Neil.
Oh, good run.
Saw it was Tex and just tucked it on the arm, got some metres and goes towards a one-on-one. What?
An ornithologist studies birds.
Continue this in the break. What's your favourite bird?
Hawks.
McInerney didn't even compete in the end.
No.
Awesome smother from Dunkley. Picked off by Hinge again. Fair bit of footy. Disposal number 11. Another one who had a career best year last season.
He was good, wasn't he? And when they were going down with injuries in the back half, he was asked to do more than what he's probably physically designed to do. And, he took the task on. He was fantastic.
Average 22 disposals a game. Pitch Hinge. Rankin. Worked for Dawson. They're not going anywhere in a hurry here. Brisbane 16 players behind the man on the mark, so Dawson's going to try and find another avenue, see if they can switch the ball, create some space. Hinge, good kick to Murray. He's got a bit of ball. Turned it over a couple of times, but his last couple of kicks have been better, although Payne. It's been a great battle against Philthorpe in his first half.
It has, yes.
The Lions lead by 8. They lead by 14 at quarter time. All individual goal scorers for both sides. Tick down just before half time. At the Brisbane Lions home training base. Pedler on that left boot. He sprayed another one.
Got to kick them. If you're not a marking style half forward and you're not pure ground level, that's your bread and butter. You've got to kick them. We would have said fantastic goal, yada yada, but really we were expecting that style player to kick those.
Wide, the mark taken from Isaac Cumming.
Good, locking it in well here.
Unrestricted free agent, the Crows signs. Gets it in deep. Wilmot was clean. Zach Bailey wasn't. Puts himself under pressure. Straight to O'Brien, who I'm not sure that was the intended target, but it'll work out anyway, and it's in pretty safe hands.
I reckon he was looking at Pedler.
You're further back in the corridor, yeah.
Nonetheless, this is the re-entries type of stuff that we've been speaking about throughout the game. Long, deep entries into the pocket, create some pressure, give yourself another chance.
Rankin unselfishly wants to give it up to Josh Worrell, and maybe he knew why. Good finish.
4 goals 3 to 2 goals 3 in the second quarter in favour of the Crows.
wasn't as if he was too far out, Isaac Rankin, but lovely finish by Worrell.
Well, the youngster's yet to kick a goal in AFL footy. 30 games, hasn't got one, so this won't officially count, but maybe Isaac just thought, here you go, just...
Josh Gibson used to do this. He used to kick goals in pre-season matches, and when it came to season, donuts. I don't think he kicked a goal for his whole career.
Yeah.
He would have had 10 to 20 in pre-season matches.
Pretty impressive on the first half for young Josh Worrell. He's got his first. They get it back to within 2 points, just over a minute to go. And they hit the front before the half. Staligo burst out of the centre clearance. Fogarty worked his man off the footy. Good cover from Noah Answorth. Got there to support.
He did real well there, Fogarty, and Answorth was fantastic the way he came back with it. Third man in.
Zorko. Chopped off from Dan Curvis, who didn't go for the mark. Tried to get the fist in. Cumming tried to burst his way through. Keys, been quiet. Payne, again, that should be a mark. I've just had word through that Brandon Starcevich night is done. Not necessarily officially been told whether it's concussion or not, but he certainly won't take any further part in this game. I'll take all precautions with him. So last opportunity here for the Crows inside the final 30 seconds of what's been a good second quarter by Adelaide.
So you watch Worrell lining up again.
And they'll all be queuing up to get around the back here of Riley O'Brien. Instead, the big man decides to kick it himself. Brisbane have the numbers back. Phil Thorpe was off hands, won't be paid. One more crack at it.
Easy.
Keys. Last shot at goal for the half. Just drifts through and Starcevich, so good to see him back on the bench. As I said, won't take any further part. With Brisbane's opening game only 7 days away.
Is that pass really not 15?
They're being very strict on that over these pre-season games. Yeah, so good quarter for the Adelaide Crows. They trailed by 14. They're able to tie it up. 44 apiece. It's been some good ball movement. Seen some youngsters show their wares, and we've seen a couple of veterans, in particular Lockie Neal, just to continue to do their thing. So we're all tied here up. And of course, remember, there is more community series games to come. Tomorrow night, we have a doubleheader. Friday night doubleheader to kick things off. The GW.
All right, there we go. What a half, I should say. 6-8-44 each of two. And of course, Brisbane Lions, who had control of most of this game here, until about a third of the way through that second quarter, and then Adelaide got it back on terms right on the dead knock. So there we go. Pretty good game happening here. A PreSeason, Shelty in the house. United GK, welcome. Good to see you here. Stone to the Bones. There we go. He's got a win bet, $20 on Brisbane, I think. 2-24. Nice. Hopefully you get up and win. Oliver, Shelty. Good to see you in here for the pre-season game here between the Lions and Adelaide, played up there in Brisbane. Let's just have a quick look at, let's have a look at the player stats now. Let me just see if this reloaded. We'll get the accurate stats there. Lockie Neal and Dane Zorko. I tell you what, Josh Dunkley, they're tearing the park up out there for Brisbane Lions. 18, 17, 14 disposals for each of three of them. They're going really good. And of course, Lockie Neal's kicked a goal with Josh Dunkley. Matty Crouch, best for Adelaide with 14. With 13, I should say. And Isaac Renke with 12 with James Peatling. Jack Payne down there with 10. Worrell there with 11 for Brisbane, for Adelaide, who kicked a goal. Will Ashcroft there on 9. Darcy Wilmot with 8. Rayner there on 8 there for Brisbane. Also disposals. Riley Wilthorpe there, just the 6 disposals there, but still looks pretty good there for the Adelaide Crows. 3 kicks, 3 handballs. He snagged 1 goal, 1, so he's looking pretty good. And the Tex is doing all right, the old fella. 5 disposals. He's kicked 1 goal, 2. And of course, those 2 behinds, both of those hit the post. A little bit to the left of the post, and he would have kicked 3 straight. So he's going all right too, the old Tex. Let's have a little bit of a look at the team disposals now. 179. 9 up are the Lions. Kicks all squares, just the handballs. is the discrepancy there. 9 up to the Lions. Inside 50 though, Adelaide pulled away a little bit, 23 to 27. Of course, 14 scoring shots for 23 inside 50s for Brisbane and 12 scoring shots for 27 inside 50s. There we go. Disposal efficiency, not too bad, up around 70% each. Of course, free kicks, not much in it, 7 to 10. 3 in favour of Adelaide. The stoppage, the hit-outs, Adelaide by 3. Clearances, Brisbane by 1. So it's all reasonably even there in that count of the game. Contested possessions, just like the rest of the game, all pretty even. +2 to Adelaide, +1 to the Lions in uncontested. The turnovers, 33-29, all pretty even. Have a look at the marks there. Now Adelaide just finding a little bit more space there, 57-42. Inside 50 marks, so that's a good sign for Adelaide, 12 to 4. All right, so we'll be back when the commentators are back. We won't be too far away, folks.
Holmes Arena in Brisbane, and it's all tied up, 44 apiece. Good second quarter by the Adelaide Crows. They kicked 4 goals to 2. All the stats back it up, all very even. You can see the ball winners there. Lockie Neal, big second quarter, 10 disposals and a goal. Peatling been impressive in new colours for the Adelaide Crows, but we want to get the thoughts of our men on the ground. Alistair Lynch and Jonathan Brown. What have you made of the first half, boys?
Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, there's been plenty of highlights in the first half here from both clubs. Probably the low light, though, is Brendan Starcevich going off with that head knock. Now, he has been ruled out of the game, so he hasn't passed the HIA, so that means he's on the sidelines for 12 days and will miss opening round next Thursday against Geelong. So just see here, Daniel Curtin just pushed in the marking contest, Brownie, and it's been a bit of a talking point over the last week, that sort of action. Any concerns there from Curtin's point of view?
I think he's okay, you know, he's just trying to establish position, but Starcevich, that's a big loss because he's playing very well.
Yeah.
And would have had a big role next week against Geelong, so he obviously won't be there at the Gabba next Thursday night.
No, absolutely, and I agree with you. I don't think Curtin's got any worries in that incident. He's trying to clear the space for a marking contest, and ironically, the last time that Starcevich played against the Adelaide Crows was round 17 at the Gabba. It was the Isaac Rankin hit that had him out of the game, and Rankin had that lengthy suspension. So that's the downside of the first half. One of the upside is for the debutant for the Brisbane Lions, Levi Ashcroft, and how'd you like his first half?
Yeah, absolutely. He's very good. Him and his brother both had 9 touches each, so he's obviously got a great footy IQ. Yeah, he moves really well. He's got good smarts out of the ball. He's got great vision. Been in around the stoppage, had a few centre bounces there, so he'd be loving being out there with his brother.
Absolutely. He's feeling, he looked like absolutely exhausted when he ran off the ground just before half time. He's had 4 score involvements as well. And look, he moves very similar to his brother. You know, he's got great hands, and this is what we see. When we've seen this throughout the pre-season, just ironically, it was his brother on that occasion, but they both have the hands to better put their teammates into better positions. On the upside, I think, and a big talking point, I think over the next month will be the forward structure of the Adelaide Crows. Riley Hillthorpe, he looks fit and he's got a real presence in that forward half.
No doubt all Adelaide fans will be hoping he turns into a genuine superstar that a lot of people believe. Yeah, he can be, even inside the organisation. So he obviously showed some really good signs late last year. He's playing with presence tonight, which I love. Yes, only 5 disposals, but every time he's around the ball, he looks like he's going to catch it. Playing a little bit in the ruck as well, but to me, he looks primed for a big season. Much like last year, unfortunately, he hurt his knee. early in the season.
Probably importantly, they got three big key forwards. Can they go with the three bigs, do you think, at the start of the year?
Oh, well, they can. The Thilthorpe has to be the main stay there, along with Fogarty as well, and obviously Walker can support them.
They can go three big forwards if they start moving the ball quickly, which we saw some signs in that first half as well. So plenty to like and a little bit not to like in the first half, Joey.
Thank you, boys. Of course, opening round only 7 days away. Thursday night footy, it's here. And we have two of the very best, our own call team in 2025. Thursday nights will be led by Matt Hill and Mark Howard. Can't wait for that.
It's been a real pleasure and a highlight of my life just working with this club over the last 7 or 8 years, and for it to culminate in a premiership, it just gives you enormous satisfaction and a lot of pleasure and a lot of pride.
Right here on Fox Footy.
And the Lions will officially kickstart their premiership defence 7 days away, opening round against the Cats. Looking forward to that one. But we want to find out who is going to play in that. And with all the news, we cross to John. Ralphie, which Brisbane Lions players do we expect to see lining up in opening round?
Hello, Joey. So the Lions quartet of ACL victims are coming with a rush. Link McCarthy, the best progressed. He's playing the night after a massive pre-season. He's as fit as he's been in years. And so you imagine he gets through the second half, he will play next week rather. So Lions football boss Danny Daly tells me that Darcy Gardner's only 2 weeks away. Here he is in the gym. Kadeem Coleman and Tom Duday have had encouraging progress in recent weeks, only 5 weeks away. So Brendan Starcevich out with concussion from tonight. Shadow Brain is the potential replacement for him. And with Eric Cooper back in the team, Ty Gallup and Sam Day probably pushing for that final spot. Now for the Dogs, their midfielders, unfortunately, they are falling like 9 pins. Marcus Bontempelli, the latest of them. Here he is after 11 minutes in what was otherwise a really highly impressive victory over Hawthorn. Now, lasted 11 minutes with calf tightness. The Dogs say it's precautionary. Here's the big thumbs up to Cam Mooney. But again, 16 days out from the round one contest. You think he's likely to play, but again, terrible timing for a club that's already lost the likes of Adam Treloar and Ed Richards with calf concerns. Really pushed the envelope there in terms of their summer. Now, Max King has had surgery today on his knee, a grumpy knee that has not responded to treatment. So the club's not yet declaring him out against Adelaide in 17 days' time. But let's face it, they're not risking their key position star in just over 2 weeks for a round one clash. Swan Districts tonight, they ruled out Taron Thomas, only 2 days into a 14-day trial after significant community backlash. You'd imagine that Taron now will find it very hard to find anywhere to play across the AFL landscape in the next 12 months. And great news for Jack Silvani as we throw back to you, Joey. After his own ACL problems and so many issues for Carlton with their injuries, he will finally return to the field against GWS tomorrow. So great news for him. And you think that Jake Stringer has missed both of the community games, but he will play, according to GWS, against Collingwood in next week's contest.
Thank you, Ralphie. Plenty of footy news floating around. A lot of injuries, but some positive news there. The Adelaide Crows were all tied up, 6-8, 44 apiece at half-time. Big second half, not far away from Brighton Homes Arena, the home of the Brisbane Lions training base. second half.
Nixie, all square on the scoreboard. How did you see the first half?
Probably right in that space. I thought they took the first quarter off us. They were a little more organised than we were, but we were able to reset ourselves at quarter time and get a couple of things right, which we weren't doing in the first quarter. I thought that second quarter was a really good performance by Everest.
In the second quarter, we saw some good signs of ball transition. Was that something you focused on?
Yeah, it's part of it, yeah. And it comes off of our other areas as well. I thought we were better in the air that second quarter. You know, a couple of big kill spores that we got done, a number of intercept marks, something we're going to have to do against such a good side.
And you've held a few of your bench players back, a few changes in the second half then?
No, our intent is to play our 22, 23 with a sub. We'll probably activate that pretty early, hopefully, but you've got to look at health. They're there in case someone gets injured or someone gets sore, we're just ready to go.
Thanks for your time.
Matthew Nix there, 6th season in charge, round 1 against St Kilda. He'll equal Gary Ayres, the second longest coach in Adelaide Crows history, behind Neil Craig. As the Brisbane Lions straight away go forward into the arms of Eric Hibwood, who wastes no time. And dribbles through the first goal of the third quarter, but just interesting there, hearing from Matty Nix, so it's worth noting Brisbane have rotated 25 players through the first half, where Adelaide, as we just heard, have basically had the 22, and they'll bring on their sub, which looks like Chase Jones at some stage.
Yeah, so he's looking at exposure for his players. So let's have a look at Eric's. He kicked that last one. It's just down to the grand final. You know your day's going to be good when you get him like that. Yeah, it was a sweet hit, that one. And loved it. The goal he kicked just then, though, in the goal square, and he was forward of the mark and he played on. I always thought that was fraught with danger. You're not too sure who's around you, and you can end up looking like a goose if somebody slaps it away.
There's a lot of hands around his foot.
Isn't there? Yeah, and it takes a while to get down there. Came up with the goods anyway.
It's his first of the night, Eric Hipwood. It's another one who had an interrupted pre-season, one of these lines with the groin issues. Another player that played for osteitis pubis late in the season. Did well to get to the finish line. McCarthy created the contest. Charlie Cameron with the crumb. And goes looking for that man, Hipwood. Moving back to your question, Joey, I think both sides have taken really well in terms of the players that they use. A 7-day break for Brisbane offers shorter pre-season, gets some running to some guys that won't be playing that game next week. And certainly Adelaide wanting to play their best outfit to have a look.
Yeah, that's the way they're going in, isn't it? So if you're, I'd say from those four fellows that are on the bench now, Murray, Draper, Murphy and Jones, whichever one of them becomes the sub, probably Chase Jones. Yeah, that's what they're looking at. They're playing their best 22 plus tonight. And that's what you get when you're the reigning premier. You get the luxury of having a look at a few.
Here was the hard luck story of last year's premiership. Oscar McInerney, the scenes. With him on the bench, how pumped he was for his teammates. He couldn't be out there himself. Looking to try and get there again this year. Just pops up a little three-quarter kick.
Didn't he handle it well? He did. What must have been a really tough time.
Yeah. And Darcy Ford was very good in that grand final too. But to see the absolute joy on Oscar McInerney's face when he went down in that final, though, you knew he must have been sore.
Had that shoulder up in the pre-season, so he's working his way back. So, as I mentioned off the top, credit to the fitness staff and medical staff of the Brisbane Lions to get basically their best team available and ready for opening round off a short pre-season, a lot of surgeries. And they all look pretty sharp still, as there is McInerney.
It's always a challenge, isn't it? You say 19 premiership players are out there tonight.
And Harris Andrews are laid out just with illness. And really, Archie and Darcy Fort, the only two. But nothing major for either of them.
That's towering.
And some strong contested marks. And they want to get it going. Soligo arched the back, although he's set Fogarty a task. And they cough it up in the middle of the ground. This is generally where the Lions make you pay. A floater. Hinge will get the free kick.
That's just overuse in a condensed traffic area in the middle of the ground. But that's what practice matches are for. You feel that. You recognise it's not the right play. Not for next time.
Rankin disposal number 13. It's going to come back with interest. Answorth, the kick to favoured Hickwood. He's taken another strong chest mark.
Good kick. Really
Had
good
have gone
kick.
skinny to the pocket. There was an overload of Adelaide players, wasn't there? The Isaac Rankin kick just missed. Might have been Peatling coming out.
Tough kick to make that one. That pull it across your body while you got a bit of pressure coming onto your left shoulder.
And his 10th season now, Eric Hipwood. Shoulder a lot of leadership responsibilities in this forward line. Joe Danaher for 2025.
It's a good point, that, Lee. I mean, we've always looked at him as, he's the youngster of the team, and yeah, he can make a mistake here or miss a goal, and we forgive him and say, yes, no problem. He's still learning. 10 years now.
He's got a long-term contract as well. Still contracted for a lot more. Dawson just took his eye off it momentarily, planning what he was going to do next. The heat's still on. The ball just a little bit greasy now with the humidity, slippery. Dawson a couple of cracks at it. Berry tried to rip it away. Saligo was clean. Kept the head down, no free kick. A bit slow to get to his feet, Jake Saligo. 12 disposals, 6 inside 50s and a goal. They're busy. Laird. He's able to free the hands to get it to Crouch, and now shoulder kicker. He keeps it skinny. There's Payne again, getting the fist on it.
Boundary line throw. At first half, it just seemed like the Lions had held the edge around the ground from the boundary line throw-ins. They seemed like they were winning 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3. Just getting dominance in that area. See if they can get one in their forward half here, the Adelaide Crows.
Throwing favoured O'Brien, who was able to palm it down to Dawson. There is the dasher in Wilmot. Goes with the left boot. It was a great kick. That was your target in Dunkley. Couldn't finish the play. As I mentioned earlier, third the best and fairest last year, Josh Dunkley. There he is. He takes the opposition best midfielder. Two-way mid. Crows will get another chance. Dawson gets a look at the goals. We'll kick it inside 50. Dara Joyce got hands, couldn't take it cleanly. McKenna. A couple of Irishmen involved in that passage of play. How will the umpires see this one? They're going to pay insufficient intent. Tough to slide, isn't it? Kick off the side of the boot.
Copped a buffeting while he was kicking it.
By 3 players. This one needs to be a little bit patient out here. Well, this can go long now. He's under pressure.
Kick it O'Reilly.
Dorset with a thumping left boot. That's special. He has to be in the conversation of one of the best kicks in the competition. I mean, he had to go from someone on his left there, Lockie Neal, and then have to dance around him, then try and balance with Zorko coming from his right-hand side, and still able to kick a 60. That is a beautiful strike of the footy. Yeah, we've seen his foot skills on display tonight.
And he starts in the centre of the ground. And I know you get your best players where the action is, but I almost feel at times I'd like to see him on the outside, so you just get more uncontested footy to him.
As a winger?
Yes.
Or a half-back?
A winger half-back. So you're getting non-pressured, well, he does that under pressure. But some of the kicks he's laid out tonight are just superb.
Let's see there, number 34. There he's on screen to tackle. That is Sid Draper. So that was the sub, I suppose, that Matthew Nix mentioned they were going to try and activate in this third quarter. So we'll keep an eye on how the youngster goes, trying to press a claim for a berth in round 1. There'll be a few players coming back for the Crows. Michael Annie, Miller and Rochelle, you would think, will be ready to play. So some spots up for grabs. There's Draper again involved. Laird. Hugging the boundary. Neil Bullen wants to come inboard. Dawson been busy to start this third quarter. Drives it in deep. Again, it's low and flat. Gives the forwards a chance. Pedler tried to shrug the tackle. And instead, he's going to get pinged on the ball. He's really unlucky.
He was stiff, wasn't he?
You see some obvious ones that aren't paid. You see some ones that are so good they shouldn't be paid. Then they give away 50, so it's a double blow to the Adelaide Crows. Relieves the pressure. And it'll be Brisbane now who'll send it inside their forward half. A kick over the head of Levi Ashcroft. There's Will, head bandage after the cut to the head. Berry, and they're queuing up everywhere in the pocket here in short. And it's Kyle Lohman whose number gets called out. Well, it was a really smart run by McKenna. I think Adelaide were just congesting the corridor to try and force the Brisbane Lions wide. McKenna saw that and took it on. And as you said, there was numbers everywhere. Lively tonight, Kyle Lohman, 1 goal, 2. A couple of hangers in the first quarter, first 10 minutes in fact. Let's push that one across the face. So there's 1 goal apiece so far in this third quarter. This was part of their issue in the early part of last year, wasn't it? Brisbane, their inaccuracy in front of goal. 7-11, they've had some really easy opportunities. I think it'd be a little bit easier at the ground that you train at.
You know the angles of the wind. Good grab.
And Keane, good mark taken there. Controlling the air with the contested marking. There's Draper's first possession.
13-5 contested marks.
Fogarty thought about going back to Draper. Instead, just like Tex Walker does, he's going to back himself to Wheel on his left. Gets it in deep. Ainsworth. It's a 50-50 ball, but Lohman made it his. That was a good closeout by Worrell. Really good. They're the exits that you want as a backman. A little easy kick to nearly the junction. Usually a half forward or a winger or a midfielder really spreading to the open side. Really good closeout by Worrell. Chamberlain ineffective. Sid Draper getting a couple of touches. Now Zorko. Spummer from Hinch, just stuck out to one hand and then goes after himself. Did really nicely. Broke a couple of tackles. And then couldn't quite finish it off. Chopped off by McCluggage.
Yeah, he's got the tumble. Comes in the end, didn't he? What do you mean by closeout? So for somebody learning the game, what do you mean by closeout?
Yeah, so really closing down on the options where Brisbane are trying to come out of their defensive 50 and they want to get an easy uncontested mark and just closing down that space and disallowing that and hopefully keeping the ball inside your front half. On mark from Ty Gallup, pressing his claim for a spot in round 1. Hardly been signed tonight, and then that almost got pinged. Instead he will. Great tackle from the youngster, and he's hurt Keane in the process. They're falling on the ball.
Yep. Broke a rib doing that one.
Yeah.
Fell on the ball.
Just thought he may have got into the back here, but maybe his elbow got stuck into the stomach. A good chase by Gallup though, wasn't it? I think if you watch his stuff in the VFL, this is one part of his game that he
fair divot.
Goes well. It's almost came out of nowhere. Ty Gallup, the Brisbane Academy prospect, he played the Brisbane VFL team in the prelim and was super impressive. And from there, the Lions matched the bid that Geelong had on him. Picked 42 in the draft. Geelong bid on him, and Brisbane said, "We'll have him, thank you." And now he's
Cats were keen, weren't they?
In line to potentially take Joe Danaher's spot. Plenty of options. Sam Day's had some minutes. If they go smaller, we'll find out in only 7 sleeps time. Can't wait for the opening game to kick off the season. Brisbane Geelong.
See, that's not understanding by the umpire there. McInerney pushes Riley O'Brien completely under the ball, and neither of them get to the drop of the ball. So you're denying the opposition ruckman a chance to touch it. See if he does it again this time. Should be a free kick if you deny the other ruckman a chance without going for it yourself.
There's the season opener.
Run into everyone.
Lohman to Ashcroft. Under pressure. Adelaide scrapping hard here. They don't want to concede one. Laird on Dunkley. Scrambled it out, so Murray tried to clear the area. Didn't quite get it far enough and into the arms of Jasper Fletcher. And again, they go short and find an option to a teammate in a better position. This time it's Ainsworth.
So Nick Murray's done a few good things tonight in defensive modes, but it's just a couple of moments it looks like it's just escaped him. It's just finding his feet at the level again. Had an injury interrupted season last year, so a couple of his decision-making aspects have just fallen short a little bit.
Another great story out of the Premiership. Noah Ainsworth, 71 games in 6 seasons, injury troubles. He's now a Premiership player, and he's on the board in 2025.
So that's the Murray kick, and that has to go boundary line. Even if you have to contort yourself to get it there.
Body.
Yeah. Even if you've got to snap it over the shoulder, it cannot go up the middle.
You usually know who's waiting there. It's the opposition wingman.
The zone.
Yep.
Yeah. Few to come back though. The Lions still, haven't they?
Yeah, Harris Andrews was the one we expected to play tonight, but just didn't get out there. There's Darcy Gardner. Kadeen Coleman still a few weeks away. Brucey Rebel there, just sitting in. Your man, just sitting
Brucey.
chilling out there.
How cool's Brucey?
Kamachi, just precautionary, some calf tightness, not playing either.
It's not often you get somebody in AFL these days he's a cult figure. Brucey Reville, in 8 or 9 games, turned into a cult figure up there.
2 goal to 1 quarter in favour of the Lions. McInerney. Phil Thorpe doing some ruck work. Didn't get the clearance. Neil. Handball was at the feet of McInerney, who made it work. Gets some purchase, drives it in deep. Lohman's there. There's Murray again doing the defensive stuff, taking a number of intercept marks.
This is what he's been good at tonight. All right, almost missed.
There's Draper. That's a nice kick down the middle. They just got a handball receive here from someone.
Yeah.
It was Peatling who was charging past, but Darcy Fogarty, he likes to kick the footy. There's a reason why he gets it in long and deep, looking for Curtin. Saligo, Keys, hardly been sighted tonight, but he gets his first. He spoke about Murray off half-back. He's been really good in the air in terms of interceptions.
I like his defensive work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit shaky by foot, you're right, but this is... They've been able to access the corridor a lot tonight. They've been forced wide by Brisbane. They've taken their opportunities wide, but sort of they've been able to get the ball in the middle into the hands of Fogarty, Dawson, those types of players that really drive it long. Just really good position by Saligo, nice and clean. Gave it to Keys, who was in his eyes.
This pops up Keysy, doesn't he?
Right, take a look at the best and fairest there. As you said, equal first. He was on the podium in 2021, 2022 as well. He's probably underrated maybe by the outside footy world, but certainly highly rated internally. 36 goals, second at the club.
He's full throttle, that's for sure.
And speaking of full throttle, that man there, Sid Draper, great to see him getting a few touches. Got it to Laird, drives it deep. Well done, Payne. Attack the footy hard.
Yeah, some of the scoutings on Sid Draper is that he's got explosive speed away from the stoppage. We'd love to see some signs of that tonight.
The boy from South Adelaide, played senior footy last year. Similar numbers coming out of the Sandford seniors to what Jason Horne-Francis had when he played seniors as a junior, and some similarities too with that power and explosiveness out of contest. So those fans will be hoping for something like Jason Horne-Francis.
Yeah.
Be handy. Half as good as him, you're right. His local clubs were looking at him, Joey, but maybe being an SA boy, it allowed Adelaide to grab him and pick 4. Crows just being patient at the moment, building the ball up. Jordan Dawson and Matt Crouch leading the way with 16 disposals apiece. Lockie Neal, just 21 disposals, 8 clearances for the champ. On down the line, there's Draper again. He's been busy since coming on in the last 5 or 6 minutes, and he'll get it back. Now Dawson pops it over to Keys. Good measure. Another nice build-up. Got some space inside 50. Just needs to pick the right option. He wants to go deep. Curtin was there. Brisbane had the flyers. Rankin's lurking. And Ainsworth did it well, but kick's going to stay alive. And in the end, Payne. Terrific tackle. It has been a kick that has challenged Brisbane, that deep one without Harris Andrews. And quite often they've had 3, 4 maybe defenders flying because of them not knowing that he's there. He's usually the one that comes over, grabs the ball or smacks it out of bounds. We're just compensating a little bit for him being in the stands. So again,
Mitch Hinge is a former Lion.
Oh, yeah, played 3 games for the Brizzy Lions.
2.
Leicester happy to see that one go out of bounds.
Alistair Lynch, you've got some info on Harris Andrews?
Oh, well, outside the fact that he's just a bit ill tonight, but I think clearly, and Joey's touched on how important he is, I think he's clearly the most important player for the Brisbane Lions. And that man there, Lockie Neal, has had plenty of the nut tonight, but he's just structurally so important. Reads the ball behind the play, 204 centimetres. I think he's a standout, most important player they've got.
Charlie Cameron at halfback, got it to Wilmot. Loman hasn't been shine flying tonight, couldn't bring that one down, and clever battle.
He's so clever, Mitch Hinge, and he just sat on him, knowing that it's not a hold, but I'm keeping Kai Loman away from the ball because I've got a teammate coming in. So he just kept sitting on him. Just experience.
Kai Loman, 1 goal 3 tonight. There's Will Ashcroft, Rayner.
Oh, still can't tackle.
Break through a couple of them. And then Sid Draper just slipped high to Ashcroft. They want to get moving quickly. Bailey outnumbered. There's Logan Morris. There are 3 Crows around. Gallup again with a nice chase. Did enough to affect the kick from Keane. And that's a strong mark from Berry. A bit of play from the Brisbane forwards.
But even that, so Keys, see where the ball is now. Keys has come from the wing and he supplied the lead up. You have to lead that out to the boundary line and rely that your teammate can hit you anywhere about 4 or 5 metres in from the boundary. So if it is spoiled, it's out of bounds. It's not dangerous again. You've got to take that lead out. You've got to drag the kick out defensively to the boundary line.
Jared Berry signed that 5-year contract extension midway through last season to 2029. He kicked the goal in the opening term and he's got his 2nd. Nice finish.
Good player.
We went through a period where it was a little bit lost. He just didn't. He lost his way a little bit. And was he a tag or was he a run with? I mean, that's the forward pressure. You're talking about to try and force that kick a little bit wider if you're the player under pressure. But no, he's certainly solidified himself in this.
He had that brilliant game when he moved on to Clary against Melbourne in the finals, preliminary final, I think it was, and he played brilliantly. And then the club brought in Dunkley, and he kind of lost that spot, which he announced himself that night. But he's now a big winger, ruck rover, adds to that huge depth.
All right, see Riley, Philip there just getting a bit of work done to his hammy. Lynchy, you got an update for us?
Yeah, he just had a stint in the ruck and sort of didn't stride off the ground and went straight to the physio and pointed to his high left hamstring. So just getting that attended to now. But as we spoke at half-time, he is a very important player for this club, so hopefully he's okay.
There's Darcy Fogarty with some dancing feet and a nice finish on the left boot.
Solved the dummy by hand. Have a look at this one. This has happened to Taylor Walker a few times now. He's got trapped under the footy. The long ball coming in has gone to the top of the square. And you'll see he gets caught under it. See? Still does well, gathers, gives the handball out. Good fake.
It is the role of the kicker, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends if he was going for him or the player behind him, but did really cleverly sort of get front and centre, really quick out of the centre, not allowing Brisbane to get back and get set. 41 goals for the season. Last year, Darcy Fogarty, with him and Phil Thorpe, you know, Taylor can be that third tall, really potent forward line. They need to be good ground level players as well.
First time in his career, kicked 40 goals in a season, ran 5th in their best and fairest, and now in their leadership group. So,
Peeking again.
Tex tried to get the arms free, well enough to get the handball out to Neil Buller, but he had nowhere to go. Cleverly just did enough to get boot the ball into the path of Jordan Dawson.
He wrong-footed himself, Keezy.
It looked like he was running through quicksand at the end.
So again, good little period here by the Crows. Bailey loves to tuck it under the arm. Loves the freedom of getting up the ground. Josh Morrill wasn't able to keep that one in.
It's actually a pretty good game. I mean, you'd be happy with this being trot out in round 2, 3, 4, 5. Its skills have been pretty good. It's a bit dewy out there, but
Brisbane Lions led by 14 points at quarter time. Tied 6 goals, 8.44 apiece at the half. We've had 3 goals each in this third term. What are you thinking of Adelaide, Dirk, this year? What are you thinking of the Crows?
I reckon they're the hardest team to mark because I reckon no team can, well, nobody can live with injuries to key players, but I reckon they can ill afford injuries less than other teams which are challenging for finals. Because their best 22 could make it for sure. 2 years ago, if it was for an umpiring decision, they did make it.
There's Matty Nix in his 6th season in charge, as we mentioned earlier. They're on a build, 3 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, 11 wins that he spoke about, and then just the 8.5 wins last season. So it's not just a bit of a dip year in a rebuild. Can they spike again?
I think it's been fantastic for them tonight. You always want your best players playing really well, but a lot of the times last year when they look potent, when they look dangerous, he comes in on cue, Isaac Rankin. He's been the igniter. He hasn't really done much tonight, but there's still been, 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they're 2 points adrift from the reigning premier, who are actually having a go. There's Isaac now. He's their best fire starter, isn't he? He's just a star player. How's he going tonight? I don't think he's got
14 disposed, but not much score involvement.
Average-ish. But we haven't gone, wow, that's Isaac Rankin again tonight. So he hasn't been that ignition to them. So pretty happy with what they're trotting out here tonight. And when he does click, which he invariably will at any moment or game, that's new level stuff for them.
Third highest rated player in the competition up until late in the year when injuries and suspension and concussion put a halt to what was on track to be a terrific season of football. Just 15 games.
I think the other thing, and we flashed to Matty Nix before, the guy sitting on his left-hand side, a guy Murray Davis, who was an experienced coach of Brisbane Lions. So he's been at Brisbane for a long time, saw this Brisbane Lions progress. So now you've got some experience also in the coach's box that can really translate to the players out on the field.
Wilmot just thumps that one as long as he can. Ball spills out, umpires can hear them, let them play. Peatling's taken high.
He's gone hard, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up for possession number 18.
13 of those 18 contested. That's what they got into the football club to do. Basically traded a second-round pick to get him. 7 clubs chasing him at one stage. Peatling, they were all after James Peatling.
He's running on top of the ground here, Adelaide. You see Brisbane, they just look a little bit more fatigued than what Adelaide do at the moment. That was young Curtin, though, who turned it over. Open the door for Levi Ashcroft. McCluggage running shotgun. Sees Neil again, who snuck out the back. This time the ball just didn't quite get through.
He looked for one without contact then, Lockie.
Well, this is where they can go, Adelaide, if they can really capitalise on this. I think Lockie Neal's got his eye on 7 days' time, Dirk.
Yeah,
absolutely. For the Cats.
Yeah, he's such a good player, Lockie Neal. He knows there's no point winning the hard ball just about now.
It's a business decision.
Yeah.
Will Ashcroft, 17 disposals, Levi 13. And amongst it, here they are again around the action. A shoulder Rico over summer. Levi Ashcroft done well to, again, as we touched on with a lot of these Brisbane players, get to the start line.
It was a day when we didn't used to wear those shoulder strappings because the opposition just comes straight out and punch you in it. Times have changed. For the better, too.
Here he is. Playing next week, Geordie, you think, Levi Ashcroft? Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yep. And there's Will. Advantages paid. Here is Neil. Again, just hanging out the back. It's a bit of a dollar each way, whether he was going for goal or going for Hitwood. I wonder whether this will be a move that they have in season, Lockie Neal, just deep forward instead of resting him on. I mean, they've got so much depth in that midfield now with young Ashcroft coming in. Somewhat to Lincoln McCarthy. Pops it up for Hitwood. It's a bit of fatigue you can see now in these players in the footy of the last 5 or 10 minutes. Which means there's opportunity. If you get it moving, have a chance to score. Worrell. Speaking of fatigue, little fumble from Curtin. And then Worrell just wanted to get rid of it. Who can make something of it? Levi Ashcroft, McCluggage, a bit of class involved there. Kick to the top of the square. It's a 2v1 in favour of Brisbane. The two couldn't win out. Hinge almost did enough, and for everyone's sake, we get a breather and a boundary throw-in.
Just there to find a mark. Almost not for Logan Morris, isn't it? Only for 7 possessions.
Both teams trying to get the match conditioning in the legs. They'll be starting to feel heavy about now. I know they've got another quarter to play. Brisbane will get one last chance. Stoppage inside 50. Just watch them line up. Ashcroft, Fletcher. Fletcher almost let Keys go in the tackle, which allowed him to get it free. Peatling screws it around. Brisbane have the numbers sitting behind the ball.
Good pace.
Ainsworth into the pocket and throw it back in where it started from.
Oscar Riley.
Of course, nothing really in this game. These two teams played in a draw last year.
So O'Brien's coming in from behind now because Oscar was working him under the footy. That's better.
Time might beat the Brisbane Lions. It's been an arm wrestle all game. Both teams competing hard, and Brisbane eventually just lead by 3 points at three-quarter time. And remember, as we touched on, AFL 360 returns Monday night. Gary Lyon in the host chair. And our first guests will be Dean Cox and Damien Hardwick. That all begins Monday, March the 3rd.
All right, so three-quarter time, it's the Lions 9-12-66, leading the Adelaide Crows 9-9-63. Of course, Brisbane putting on 3 goals, 4 in that third term. 3 goals, 1 Adelaide Crows. That's one of the downfalls of Brisbane. They're kicking a little bit awkward. All right, let's go and have a look at the player stats, see who's doing well. I think that's updated. Let me just reload that up just to double check. Actually, let's have a look at the goal scorers on the ground. Jared Berry there leading the way with 2 goals for the Brisbane Lions. Josh Worrell, Walker, Thilthorpe, Saligo, Scholl, Pedler, and Keys, Fogarty, Dawson. Look at all those single goal scorers there. And of course, that was for Adelaide, and of course for Brisbane, Jared Berry with 2 and singles to Lockie Neal, Lohman, Hitwood, Fletcher, Dunkley, Bailey, and Ainsworth. Let's have a look at the disposal getter. Who's leading the way at the moment? Well, Lockie Neal. There we go, Brownlow medalist. 23 disposals with Matt Crouch there from Adelaide, both on 23 apiece. Next best, James Peatling on 20 with Will Ashcroft. Dane Zorko and Dunkley a little bit quieter in that third term, but still having a good game. Both of the boys there. Josh Well on 19. Mark Keane now on 14. Levi Ashcroft 14. As we head down the page a little bit, Hugh McCluggage on 12. Jared Berry on 11. Charlie Cameron just a 10. No score tonight. 7 kicks, 3 handballs. He's probably saving himself for the opening round, of course. Riley O'Brien on 9 there for Adelaide. Riley Thilthorpe, 8 touches. A little bit quiet in the third term. 1 goal, 1 still doing okay. Oscar McInerney, the big ruckman there, just the 6 touches there for Brisbane. 6 kicks. He's kicked 1 behind, which was a snap out of the ruck, and 25 hit outs, so doing okay. Brandon Starshevich off the ground. I think they've ruled him out with concussion. He copped a bit of a knock there in the second term. We're going to be back to the game in just a moment for the final quarter, where Brisbane Lion lead by 3 points. It should be a pretty good final quarter. I think both teams want to get the job done. They want a victory just so that they can go into the first round with a little bit of momentum. That being said, they want to get through the game injury-free. Of course, the toll of the heat is slowing the players down a little bit. She's pretty warm out there, up there in Brisbane. So we'll see how they run the game out in this final term. Anyway, the commentators will be back down, and we'll be back down for the bounce of the ball in just a moment for the final quarter, as we just wait for the commentators to get back to the game. I'll take us back down to the ground now, and they will take us into the final quarter.
For here against the reigning champs, the Brisbane Lions. It's been close most of the game. Margin's never been more than 15 points that Brisbane led by just before half-time. Brisbane by 3 points. You can see the ball winners there, the usual suspects for both teams. We're going to get down to the boundary line and get the thoughts of Alistair Lynch and Jonathan Brown.
Thanks, Joey. It hasn't cooled off too much, Brown. It's probably about 25 degrees, but still perfect conditions for these players that are starting to get a bit worn out. I think for the Adelaide Crows, there's been plenty of positives, and in particular, some of their newer players. And we look at Alex Neil, born as one, but who was the other one I was going to say? James Peatling.
Yeah, across from GWS, he played really well in the second half last year. He goes, no case, geez, I'm going well.
That's a good 30 seconds.
But I tell you what, he was impressive over the Giants, and maybe just went to the Adelaide Crows, reached out to them, to thought maybe more opportunity there, and he's been very good in his first outing here.
Yeah, 5 score involvements, 1 goal assist as well. So he's playing the midfield and going to half forward and playing as the high half forward. So his work rate has been really impressive. It allows the likes of Laird to go back to half back and gives them extra run there.
Yeah, I think so. And with Isaac coming as well, so they've got 3 experienced guys come in and try and help them get over the hurdle and get to finals.
Thank you, Lynchy. Brownie. Fourth quarter underway. Brisbane hanging on to a slight lead. They've just maintained the lead all through that third quarter. Without really putting Adelaide away. Oscar tried to be creative, didn't quite work out.
Put it into advantage.
Of course, Brisbane in 7 days
their season starts. Adelaide 17. So, Geordie Lewis, you've been in this situation a number of times. How do you think the Brisbane Lions will be looking to play this last quarter out as Berry just decides to go for a banana? They've got...
everyone.
Are they thinking
They were
about...
lining up, weren't they?
Are they thinking about 7 days' time?
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about that. I think at this point in time, you still want to get the run in your legs. You still want to feel that game fatigue. The crash and bash has probably gone out of it. And then you're just preserving yourself. You don't want to get injured, Joey. Oh, no. Ooh, nearly got an opportunity goal there. But, yeah, it is about next week. There's no doubt about that. That is when you play for 4 points. That is when your real season starts.
What about the Crows, Derm? You think it's a bit different for them? They need to hit the ground running to start the season. They just want to continue to play it out, play strong.
That's the difference between finishing in the finals one year with the expectancy that you're going to do it next. You're a touch unsure about yourselves, so you've got to come out playing in round one the way you want to go through the season. You can't just go for this will be a slow build, like Brisbane last year. Slow build, well, they win one game in round 5 or 4, I think, before they got on the board. They definitely lost the first 3 from memory. So it's a slow build, and then they know their list. They know they've been to preliminary finals, they've been to grand finals. When you don't know that, you've got to come out all guns blazing.
Big O with the shaved head, drifts forward, takes a mark, and kicks a nice goal.
Pretty good kick.
It moved in the air a little bit, but I think you're exactly right about Adelaide. Round one is the most important game for their season. Then once you complete that, and hopefully you win that, then it's the ability to move on. They don't have the luxury to think long-term like a Brisbane Lions. All we need to do is make top 4. We need to win enough games to make top 4. Adelaide certainly don't have that luxury. And especially because they don't play around 0, then they play around 1 for sides that don't play around 0.
If you can win in 0 round, it's an enormous advantage. Enormous.
So again, they extend the margin by 11 points. There's Sid Draper. 6 touches in that third quarter. Coming on with some fresh legs. Good pressure there from Adelaide. Now Crouch wants to go wide. Neil Bullen playing that half-forward role, as well as he always does. Keeps it low and flat, and that was a good kick for Thilthorpe. He'd finally got separation from Payne. Dropped the chest mark. Curtin, top of the square. Everyone watches it bounce. Rankin, this is what he does so well. All class.
Shelling peas for him, wasn't it? In fact, he actually was decelerating by the time he kicked it.
His first of the night, Isaac Rankin. Left unattended inside forward 50. He'll make you pay all day long. Fascinating to see the split between midfield minutes and time in the forward line for Isaac Rankin to start the season.
Well, you know they've got 3 genuine midfield players coming into this outfit now. With Peatling coming and the lad Draper. So he might be afforded the luxury of staying forward a little bit longer and just being totally dangerous.
So he's here to jump on board as an Adelaide member. So on the bottom of the screen, exciting times. They are hoping for the Crows as Brisbane through McCluggage. Big pack of players in this contest. Hitwood, clever. He saw Logan Morris sleep out goal side. And it didn't matter, he got the free kick for high contact anyway.
Oh, 1 goal to Eric Hitwood.
Another one with an interrupted pre-season. Just be happy to get the hit out, get through this game unscathed, get the run in the legs. He didn't play last week in that sort of 3-team round robin that Brisbane played against Gold Coast and Collingwood. And here he is from 40 out straight in front. He slots his second.
I'm just remembering when Jared Berry took that banana shot this quarter from the far pocket, and he had 3 or 4 on in the. Right, I know it's a practice match. Remember they went through a period last year, the Lions, where they were taking the difficult shots and not passing the ball off to certainty targets in the corridor. Is it something that they're given license to kick, or is it just this is a practice match?
Well, I don't think it wasn't evident at the start of this match. They were really unselfish.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing Chris Fagan, I don't think he would be telling his players if there was better options inside the corridor not to use them. Every time the Crows get within a kick, Brisbane have always had the answer. Goal for the majority of this second half. Levi Ashcroft shovels it out to Zorko.
Good hands.
Laird still with the leg speed, first to the ball. Can't keep it in. They got the premiership coach, there he is, Chris Fagan. Looking a lot more relaxed than he usually does when he's on the bench. In his 9th season now. Done a wonderful job of this football club.
I'm sure that he'll coach just as hard, but the pressure's off now.
Yeah.
So he can now be himself totally and utterly every minute of the day.
Rayner attacks it full-chested. I think everybody learned a great lesson last year, and Chris Fagan has spoken about it, how he just let go of the reins a little bit and let his players play, and probably wasn't so hard on the little things. That type of environment is great for players to be in.
And you need an experienced team.
Absolutely. Lions flick it around by hand. Levi Ashcroft gets it on the left boot, gets it far enough. Pencil him in for opening round.
So when we write down a little bit of diatribe about the skills and classifications that a player has, but this young fella, I'll write goal sense. He really knows his way around the front of the goals. And he even undercuts this ball a little to get a drop punt spin out of it. It's very clever.
The other thing, Derm, is when you watch him, he never turns his back on the ball. He's always watching where the ball is, and in the event that it may come to him. But, I mean, he's been really good. He's had the 16 disposals, 3 clearances, 1 goal, 1. Really clean. I think that's a standout, a real quality of the Ashcroft boys is their hands and their ability to put other players into space. It's a good hit out. There are 2 of the young guns, 2 of the best juniors in the country last season, now living out their dream. See Draper and Levi Ashcroft as Rankin got the clearance to Laird. Wilmot did really nicely. Got it to Lester on the outer wing. Bit of time and space and just a bit of a floater. Good courage from young Hugh Bond. Pickle committed as well. Of course, Brisbane's start to the season. We know about Geelong next Thursday. Then they play Sydney, grand final rematch in round 1. And then they come back home and take on the West Coast Eagles before they have their bye. So their prelim and their grand final opponents to kickstart the season.
Yeah.
Going to have to be sharp early. They've looked pretty good tonight. They've got exactly what they wanted out of it, except for the injury to Brandon Starcevic, the concussion, which will most likely rule him out of opening rounds with the 12-day protocol. Other than that, they should get through the clean bill of health.
Give me better.
Levi again, heard the voice of Lockie Neal, had nowhere to go. Dunkley flicks it over the top. Keane has to keep the ball in front of him. The umpire say responsible, saying Keane was responsible for the high contact. No one can get a clear possession.
See how powerful Cam Rayner is just over the ball then. Just even on his hands and knees, you cannot bump him off it.
Draper, sharp hands. Big ruckman in O'Brien.
So that's a good clearing kick. We're talking about the third quarter.
Towards the boundary.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't go directly to a teammate, but your teammate can force the ball over the boundary. There's safety first in that kick. If he somehow wins it, bonus.
O'Brien this time was able to take it out of the ruck. Bond, number 40 there. He played 7 games late in the season last year. Neil looks as sharp as ever, although that handball was picked off by Draper. He's going to hug on the boundary line. Good kick for Phil Thorpe, who wants to wheel and go. He's got a one-on-one deep. Brisbane get numbers back. They couldn't get there in time, but then Fogarty dropped the mark. He would normally swallow. Maybe frustrated with that.
Gave away a free. There's probably a little bit of the due.
Greasy ball.
Yep.
Yours.
Still looking to go here, Brisbane. It's a good run by Zorko.
And these are the kicks they've mastered. Just popping them
around,
over those zoning defenders. Levi Ashcroft gets the 1-2. Neil sits front and square. Needs to go up against the bigger body in Phil Thorpe. Oh, an unbite. Riley Phil Thorpe there to win a one-on-one against Lockie Neal, and now McInerney. So a scrappy bit of play now. Chain of handballs will end with Wilmot, who decides to have a crack from 55. Logan Morris hasn't really been able to get involved too much. What have you seen from Dermot, the tall forwards, the discussion coming into it? We know Logan Morris will be there, but Sam Day hasn't really done a lot. Young Gallup probably hasn't had much opportunity tonight.
No, Gallup, he's not getting into the right spots at the moment. Sam Day copped a big hit to the back of the head. So you probably think that he might be a little bit groggy. That's 50. That'll be 50. They've done it without the assistance of big forwards tonight. Kai Lohman has probably been the most mobile aerial target. Young Logan, he's been a knight where he's been dangerous on occasions, but he hasn't really threatened to hit the scoreboard.
Henry Smith was the other player that Brisbane named tonight that hasn't been used. Talk sort of ruck forward that there was some talk about over summer that could potentially fill the void by Joe Danaher.
I don't mind some of the things Gallup's done, but he hasn't been in the forward line when he's done them.
Neil Bullen pushes that to the left. 13 disposals tonight. As industrious as ever for Alex Neil Bullen.
Outside 5.
Jasper Fletcher has been out here for an eternity. Brisbane just might drop in a bit of control footy, Geordie, and just conserve a little bit of energy.
Absolutely sucked the last 12 minutes out of the clock.
Speaking of Henry Smith, there he is
Away they
on
go.
the field into the action. And he's not going to get a possession advantage, is being paid. Lohman, who's had plenty of pings at it tonight, started the game in a blaze of glory and might finish the same way. He's got his second.
He really thought through that, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was waiting for options to present themselves. Then I think he got a little bit too close to both of the Brisbane players that were potential options. And then he thought he may as well go himself. You can just see here, thinking through the play, takes a bounce. Eric Hipwood drew the 2 Adelaide players a little bit further away.
Worrell was his opponent at the drop of the footy, and he got caught on the the attacking side of the pack.
Yeah, there's a lot of space over the back of the contest. No, he's shown enough.
5 shots a goal.
Yep.
Only the 2 goals, but 5 shots.
He'll progress nicely this season as well, backing up a really exciting season that he had last year.
So if you look at that, Jared Berry's had 3 shots at goal. Eric's had 4. Kai Lohman's had 5. So it's not the big, key forward style players.
There's Henry Smith now having a stint in the ruck. Hipwood had a good look at it. He's frustrated that he couldn't hold on to that sliding chest mark.
They've got down to a game high now, 22-point lead, Brisbane. Led by 14 at quarter time. It was all square at the half. And then
Nibbler? What's this?
yeah, little nibbler.
Nibbler. Right, okay.
Good kick there by Nib. Oh. Worrell started the game really well, as did Soligo. Just sort of drifted out of it. Peatling, clever little underground. It's a Dawson. He wanted to kick, but has to retreat. Now there is a high ball. Get under that one. Riley Philthorpe couldn't get there. Fletcher. There's some confidence. A little fend off and goes towards Loman. Got done by Nankervis. Comes into the corridor. Worrell, Laird. Fan it wide to the nibbler. There's Fogarty in a one-on-one. That's where the kick goes.
Well read.
And he made it work.
So, at the other end for the Adelaide Crows, yeah, they've got three really big targets. Taylor Walker, Riley Philthorpe and Darcy Fogarty. If they're going to win games, these three have to mark it. They can't be out there and say, right, they kick ground level goals as well as present. No, they have to mark the ball. You've got three blokes that size, you almost can ill afford to let the ball hit the ground when you're in the box seat to mark it.
He's second of the night.
Good lad.
That's what he does as well as any player in the comp. Darcy Fogarty makes no mistake.
Guy Loman did the lunge from the ground. That's one way you know you don't have to chase.
Good passage of play, good build-up. Fogarty will look to spearhead this attack again. He said 41 goals last season on the club goal kicking. We spoke earlier about the start of the season for Adelaide, how important it is. We know they've got St Kilda in round one. They've got some real opportunity. Then they play Essendon, North Melbourne and the Gold Coast Suns. And when you look at the bigger picture, 6 of their first 9 games with the Adelaide Oval this year because of gather round and playing a showdown against Port. So they really do have a chance to make some headway early. We'll know early season. on, won't we? Absolutely. He's coming. He's done some nice things. Dawson off one step. Neil Bullen did well not to give away the free kick. Fletcher to Answorth. And step back inside and then back out of trouble nicely. Ashcroft. Missed Zorko. A lot of possessions for not much territory at the moment.
Oh, good fake.
Philthorpe showed nothing. Now his turn, another one. No 15. Just keep an eye on that early in the season. I reckon the umpires have made a conscious effort to call play on a little bit more often, and that kick finds Keys.
They had +2 in the back line there, Brisbane. Just needed to drag them out a little bit, just disrupt them by the way they look at the ball downfield. And you need a really good kicker to make that kick. So you're talking first month.
I've just noticed over these practice games and community series, the umpires have caught a lot of play-ons for those marks that would have been paid last year.
Yep.
Around the 15-metre mark. And Keys for number 2. Hooked it badly.
They were 0-4 last year, the Crows, to start the season, and that put them on the back foot right from the word go. Yeah, they've got to put points on the board early.
And then they got going through the middle part of the season, Adelaide, and then they had a really tough finish. I think they played almost 4 or 5 of the finalists at the end of the year and left themselves too much work. So you're right, the start's going to be crucial for the Crows this season. It's the hardest thing to try and drum into young players how important round one is. And you always realise if you're not in a position to make finals late in the season, you say, I told you. It's when it really hurts. Tex just pops it up, but only the smalls at ground level. It was Panther and Shoal, but it was coming with a nice finish. And his first goal in Crows colours. He was in a nice position, wasn't he? As the ball came in, got it really deep by Tex. really hard ball to mark, but big spoil by Leicester. Just shows how important it is to be clean.
Classic winger's goal, isn't it? I mean, you're the furthest from the spoil. You're following the ball in. You trace the ball into the forward line. The biggest spoil goes to the furthest part.
Well, it's probably
That's
like what you were saying before about the kick. I mean, that spoil, if you really want to be technical, it needs to go to the boundary.
Was that coming? Just 6 games last year for the Giants with those soft tissue and hamstring injuries. Hoping for a clean run at it. Another one that could play through the wing and half-back area for Adelaide. They get it back to 9 points. So these teams played twice last year, round 17. It was Brisbane by 11, and they played a draw in round 9. So they're used to playing in close ones, these sides. Tex, a little fumble. There's time to get it back and kick another ball. It'll bring rain. Oh, big collision from Fogarty and Pedler. Soligo tried to drop the shoulder.
Good call by the umpire.
Just see Jack Payne behind screen there, trying to get back to his feet. Tex, well, he's one of the best at that, grabbing it out of the ruck from the forward 50 stoppage. Couldn't screw it back enough as he tried to boot the cover off it.
His kicking's just a little shabby in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Tex. For the stunning kick that he is.
Good run down from Dan Curtin. Was able to dispossess McCluggage. And then even better from Charlie Cameron on coming. Will Ashcroft, so clean. How good was that? And they're away and running here. Berry. Here's Dave. Former Gold Coast son. Drives it in deep to the pocket, and Morris just does the discipline thing.
Henry, Riley. Thanks, Riley.
Final 6 minutes to play in this one. Both teams, you feel, have got everything they would have wanted out of the hit out. Hinge, O'Brien, Curtin, and now Cumming. Casually, on the outside of the boot, finds Sid Draper, who's shown a bit since he's come on.
He certainly hasn't looked overawed, has he? He's made some really good decisions, been nice and clean. Dangerous kick across.
Curtin's had a couple of those kicks in this game. Day from McKenna, missed him. There's Draper again. There's that customary dash, tucks it under the arm. He might keep running. He will. He put the head down.
Just knew he was going to run out of steps. Well
It's
done.
poor Josh Duckley that has to give chase.
Go, son. Oh,
Give it
to him.
In the end,
He's
created the
wonderful.
space, the young fella, and opened the door for O'Brien.
Oh, hang on. It's a short on. Oh, Alistair Lynch. You would have run like that in your day, Alistair, to get onto the end of one. He was very good then, the kid, wasn't he?
You find you actually run a little bit quicker when there's a cheap one on the end of it.
He did run hard, though. He was fantastic, Sid Draper. I like the way he exploded away from the stoppage at half-back with pace. If that's not a play with pace, that ball's probably still in the back half of the ground.
And Darcy Fogarty will kick his third and give the Adelaide Crows a chance to win this game. 4 minutes to go, back within 2. Take a look at the replay. This is what you want to do.
1, 2, 3, 4. Steps in. He's running out of steps here. Has to give it. And he keeps going. And who comes through the top of screen here? Forward of Pedler. But he doesn't use him.
It's an important kick by Soligo. I mean, players, you rarely see players that come into the AFL now that can't kick around their body and don't get the ball. I mean, you would back in maybe your day, it was...
No, we hated it.
Yeah, you've got to be straight line. You've got to... You know, those players that are able to kick across their body are so dangerous in terms of penetration, really hard to read.
Still just over 4.5 minutes to go. Back within 2 points. Draper
Again.
continuing to impress. Centre clearance. High long ball. Dawson resting it full forward.
Couldn't take the chest mark. Seen a number of chest marks drop from both teams.
And he was good again, the kid, wasn't he? Real wheels coming out of the middle then.
Up to 12 disposals, 4 clearances in just over 45 minutes of footy. Spills to Pedler, who has a chance on his opposite.
Big opportunity.
And now I suppose, Geordie, with the scores the way they are, maybe an opportunity for teams to go and practice their win the game or save the game modes.
You're exactly right. You know, you very rarely get to do it in season.
And it doesn't work when you're doing
Certainly Adelaide. I think Adelaide had a fair few close losses
they
last
lost
year.
a lot of close ones.
Yeah.
So great opportunity for Adelaide here to practice this close game scenario. And of course, Geordie, it never works in pre-season because you play against yourself and the other team know what you're trying to do when you play against yourself. So you need to do it against an opposition.
I think about later.
They always ruin it. We're trying to do something and the players know what you're doing.
Or do you ever get their coaches to send one group off and just whisper to them what they're going to do in a practice match scenario?
So let's keep an eye on the Crows and how they might try and pinch a win. Rankin has snuck out goal side. Worrell will want his left. He'll go to the square. Dawson and Fogarty are in this contest. Jordan Dawson, that's what he's capable of doing. That's what you want to see. He can push forward and hit the scoreboard.
The bigger beef in the pack was all forward, and that was, I think it was Fogarty, and he's taking a lot of the heat there. They're all gravitating towards him, and that allows Dawson to stand behind and just place gentle hands on the back of the opponent in front and take the mark over the back.
Another really nice night for Jordan Dawson. Disposal 24, his second goal, 4 clearances, 8 tackles. Just a little bit of lip.
So you watch here. Who is it? Is it Fogarty?
Yep.
Yeah.
They were both the
His contact on them takes down 2. It's still a clever mark. You still got to grasp it, but it took the heat off Dawson to actually accept the mark.
I think we all understand it's a pre-season match, but don't underestimate just a little win over the reigning premiers and the belief that might give this Adelaide side. They've been challenged. They got out to about 20 points at one stage, Brisbane.
Yeah, 22 early this quarter. First time Adelaide have been in front since midway through the first quarter. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Crows go into their save the game mode. Draper again having impacts. Kicks this one forward.
Kicked the last 4, the Crows.
And just when we thought, Geordie, that Brisbane might have put the queue in the rack, now they just, there's a competitive spirit and they just come out a little bit.
Always.
They think, hang on a minute, we were comfortable 10 minutes ago. We just need to find a way to win. This is how they do it through the corridor. Leicester. It's a tumbler, but it'll work for Rayner.
It's a shank and it's... Oh, the forwards tend to turn back and get their eye gaze towards the ball carrier a fraction earlier than the backman because they're tracing the...
Trying to reference a player.
And for a shank kick like that, the forward has the first dibs on it.
And Rayner in the All-Australian squad last year, clearly his career best year. It was enormous, but he just went back on that. Two minutes to go. Adelaide will want to try and shut this one down. They send all their numbers to the broadcast side. Worrell will kick it long to his ruckman. Smith trying to keep it alive. Soligo just trying to get it forward. Zorko's kick partially smothered. Well done from Laird. Won a 50-50 ball. Got it to Neil Pullen. Pedler hard running. That was a terrific kick.
Great kick.
And Soligo still running as well.
Pedler will let his defenders catch up. Milk some clock and keep it long down the line, although there's nobody home. So they didn't quite execute that well, Adelaide. And now over to Brisbane to go the full length of the field. We'll take the ball forward if you're Brisbane. Speaking about game scenario. McKenna, still got enough speed in those legs. With a kick, he will keep going. And he draws them out. This is a great build-up. Will used his brother as a dummy and then goes to his good mate Jasper. It'll be Fletcher. He might have the responsibility to put the lines in front. Nice and composed. Great run from McKenna off half-back. I like Fletcher's game. You're right, he's got a little bit more confidence with ball in hand in terms of shrugging tackles and making decisions off the back of that.
Kicked one early in the game to put the Brisbane Lions in front. He's hooked it. So now the Crows just need to hold on for their final 30 seconds.
Well, if he goes short, they haven't been paying them for 15 metres tonight, so he's almost obligated to go to a contest outside down the line.
It will. It'll go to the ruckman. They're queuing up front and square. Draper has had some great impact in this second half. Gets it about 50 metres forward. Brisbane will have one last crack at it. Zorko, you know, he'll be aggressive with his kick. That's where it goes to centre half forward. Can anyone take him up? There's no one home. Bailey, handball off. Levi, quick kick. The mark will not be paid. He didn't quite get there on the full. And the Adelaide Crows will hold on. And a pretty good game for a pre-season contest. Josh Morrell's happy.
He's very happy.
Look at some of the Adelaide Crows players. They're actually quite pleased with this, aren't they? This is a little bit of a platform for them. This is the reigning premier, so you get on a plane, you travel all that distance, it means something.
22 points down, halfway through the last quarter. The last 4 goals. Peatling was excellent. So was Neil Bullen. Cumming had some moments. So the new faces, Sid Draper. So plenty to like about the Adelaide Crows. And they'll feel confident heading into their round 1 game against St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. It's the Brisbane Lions, surely. He does feel frustrated, but it wouldn't bother them too much.
You hate to be in his family and playing in Monopoly. He'd just be arguing about every transaction and he's a competitor.
And two very different mindsets that you saw from the reaction from the Adelaide players after the game. Just that little win against the reigning premiers can just give them that little jolt of confidence leading into round 1 in a couple of weeks. It doesn't faze Brisbane Lions one bit. They've got their eye on next Thursday night against the Geelong Cats when they play for 4 points. They're trying to defend their title, which has been really difficult in recent times. They found it really hard.
Well, let's get down to the boundary line because Jonathan Brown has Jordan Dawson with him.
Absolutely, Jordan. Edge pull up, mate. You're sweating a bit out here.
We're not used to this humidity, so it's good to get a good hit out. I mean, getting the win's always a good result. Trialing a few different guys in a few different game modes, but mate, it's good to come up against the reigning premiers, and both teams are pretty fit, and it's a good contest, mate, to go into the season. And yeah, she's a bit hot and humid, but we'll enjoy it.
Absolutely, great intensity. You spoke about those new guys, so experienced guys, Peatling, Cumming, and Neil Bullen. Neil Bullen clearly in the leadership group, he's been important.
Mate, they've all been huge. I mean, obviously the 2 boys played the final series at Giants, and they've come with a lot of experience, although they haven't played heaps of games, just even that experience of going deep in the finals. And then obviously Alex, I mean, they're all incredible humans firstly and great footballers, and they understand their role. They want to help the team, so you can't ask any more of those guys. And like I said, Alex has come in the leadership group straight away. He's come in, been himself, challenged and reward guys, and I can't be more impressed with all 3 of them, to be honest. So yeah, we're a lot better team with them on the outside.
Your form is fantastic. You kicked the match winner. Where will see you predominantly as midfielder this year?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we've got the flexibility with Ranks and James and Jason Sligo and Sid Draper tonight. Like, actually, we've all got the ability to go forward, and I'll definitely spend a bit of time forward throughout the year. And probably towards the end of last year, having not as many guys going through there, you kind of get a bit banged up and a bit worn out. So definitely be good to spin the wheels a bit more in there. And the game's so fast nowadays, so you've got to be fresh. You can't be wavering too much. So yeah, a bit of mid and forward, I think, this year.
All the best for the year, mate. Back up to you, Joey.
Thanks, Brownie. Of course, the other positive, both teams got through pretty unscathed. They're both going to be relatively fit going into the
Start of the season, only Brandon Starcevic with concussion will be the issue to come out of it for the Brisbane Lions, but Adelaide will hope to get Michelle and Michael Lanny back for the season opener. Wayne Miller should be available as well, and Brisbane are in pretty good shape too. Let's get back down to the boundary line. Alistair Lynch has Lockie Neal.
Thanks, Joey. Lockie, looks like it's pretty warm, tough conditions tonight.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night, but it gets slippery out here or in Brisbane in general. So, yeah, nice and sweaty one tonight. Missed the ball with my hand a couple of times, just slipped off the knuckles. So, got to get used to it. It's like this probably for the first few rounds up here.
We'll stay on yourself. A delayed start to your 14th pre-season with your foot injury. Look like you're in pretty good nick in 30 touches tonight.
Yeah, I felt pretty good. The club put together a great program for me for the off-season and pre-season. Just a nice build, and had the foot scan last week, and it's cherry ripe. So, yeah, they've done a great job in getting me prepared, and I feel like I'll be able to hit the ground running next week against the Cats.
You had a number of players had a delayed start, but the squad looks like it's really fit and really cherry ripe for opening round.
Yeah, everyone's going to say it this time of year, but the boys came back in really good running condition and weight and everything, so that's all you can ask, and we put together a really solid block of training. We feel like we're ready to go, and hopefully we can start the season a little bit better than last year.
Yeah, well, you are the reigning premiers. It's the first pre-season you've done as the reigning premiers, but you're bringing your first draft pick of Levi Ashcroft. How have you seen his progression, but seen him in action against opposition tonight?
Yeah, he's just so calm and collected, a little bit like his brother. They're pretty similar players in a way, and it's great for the club. They've set the next sort of 10 years up with our midfield beautifully, and it's going to be a hard team to crack into. I wouldn't want to be in match committee picking the team next week. It's going to be tight, but he's done a lot right. He had a shoulder, so he's only sort of joined the main group over the last couple of weeks and slotted in seamlessly. So we'll see him in action, if not the first week, very soon, I would have thought.
Well, just one quick one. Are we seeing you at full forward, moving forward? You spent plenty of time there.
Yeah, just with the conditions, just rest up there a little bit. But, yeah, I probably won't spend too much time. Fags will probably tell me to get on my bike and get back up the field into the midfield, I think.
All right, well done. Pre-season complete. All the best for the year.
Yeah, thanks, Lynchy. Appreciate it. Ta.
Lockie Neal, another 30 disposals, 10 clearances. That's where he does his best work around the footy. Well, double-headed tonight. Done and dusted. It was the Western Bulldogs by 11 earlier. Adelaide by 3. Tomorrow night on Fox Footy, another double-header. The GWS Giants taking on the Blues, followed by the Gold Coast Suns. They will be hosting the Sydney Swans. Plenty more action on Fox Footy. Don't go anywhere.
All right, folks, there we go. The Crows got up over the Brisbane Lions in the final quarter by 3 points. At one stage, the Lions 92, the Crows 70, so the Crows did a fantastic job. In the final half of that final quarter, and they got the job done. As Lockie Neal was speaking there, he was just dripping with sweat. It's that warm up there, as they said. About 25, hot conditions in the footy. Let's just check on the player stats. Let's see who, and of course Lockie Neal, there we go. He ended up with 30 disposals there, 1 goal, 1. He did fantastic for the Brisbane Lions. Matt Crouch, 29 for the Crows. Zorko, 28 for the Lions, led 24. Dawson, 24. Will Ashcroft, 24. So a lot of the big names got a fair bit of touch on the ball tonight in this game. And they'll be well prepared for round one. These two teams have still got a few games coming your way tomorrow and Saturday, so that should be pretty good. Hopefully I'll be able to get a game or two done tomorrow. If available, let's just clear up these team stats. Let's have a bit of a look. It was pretty tight, wasn't it? Only 3 disposals. The difference between these two teams tonight, 367, 370. There we go. Inside 50s, pretty even. 56, 51. Efficiency, not too bad, 68, 71. Inside efficiency, both above 50, so not too bad a start. Free kicks, well, they mounted up a little bit more as the game progressed. 14, 22. Crows with 8 there. The hit-outs all tied up with the clearances. Centre clearances pretty tidy as the stoppage clearances. Contested possession, well, there you go. They were both at the ball there, 140 apiece. Of course, Adelaide uncontested by 16. Turnovers, both 68 apiece. The marks, Crows grabbed the ball a little bit more, 97 to 79. Just found the gaps a little bit more. And of course, just by +4 in the forward 50 contested marks. Crows stronger in the air. Tackle count, maybe a little bit low there for both sides, but as I said, they're probably going at about 80% pace there tonight, 51-46, so not too bad at all. And that was the final result. We did have the poll in there tonight, and of course, 76% went for Brisbane. They were pretty well right up until the final few minutes of the game this evening, until the Adelaide Crows took the lead. I'm just double checking the games tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow we've got two games, double header. We've got GWS Giants taking on Carlton at 5:20 tomorrow. It comes straight after that is the Gold Coast and Sydney Swans. So hopefully I'll be able to definitely cover the GWS Giants game and of course the Carlton game. I'll try and make sure I'm here to cover that one, and quite possibly the Gold Coast Sydney, which should be a pretty good game too, playing up there in Brisbane as well. Another hot game coming your way tomorrow. Plenty of action. Of course, Saturday we've got St Kilda taking on Port Adelaide, West Coast Eagles taking on North Melbourne, and of course the final game is Fremantle and Melbourne over there in Perth to wrap up the pre-season games. Then we get straight into the action. Round one, not too far away, which commences as we were saying on Thursday, the 6th of March, where that's next Thursday the 6th. There we go. Which is next Thursday, I think. Anyway, that's the Brisbane Lions will be taking on the Geelong Cats. So that should be a fantastic opening game of the 2025 AFL football season. Round one should be a cracker. And of course, on the Friday, round one, the Sydney versus Hawthorn, Suns versus Essendon on the Saturday. And of course, Sunday to round it off, we've got the Giants and Collingwood. That should be a pretty tough game for Collingwood, although they're in pretty good form after a good win there yesterday against the Tigers. I think they're going to have a few split games with a few buys up until the first 4 weeks, and then we should have full rounds after that. But certainly looking forward to round one next Thursday. It should be an absolute cracker of a game when Brisbane Lions take on the Geelong Cats up there at the Gabba in Brisbane. Well, who do you think? Interesting game. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's all we've got for this one. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, David. It was a pretty even. It certainly was a pretty even game. I think maybe Brisbane just ran out of a bit of legs, and Adelaide, they just lifted their intensity a little bit in that final half of the final quarter there. It was a pretty good effort by both sides. I think they'll come away both reasonably happy with their performance, how things went. I think it was just Starcevic was the only one that came out with the injury that I saw for Brisbane, who went off with concussion, so I think he's going to miss the first game of the season with that. So a little bit unfortunate for him and for Brisbane, because he was doing a great job down back there for the Brisbane Lions. But there we go. All right, folks, that's all I got for this one. We'll catch everyone next time. You probably will. Yeah, I think they said 7 days is not enough time. If they go with concussion, it needs to be a little bit longer. I'm not sure whether it's 10 days, somewhere like that. I should check the rule up on that one and see what the actual number is. But there we go. It should be a good game. Good game tomorrow, shouldn't it? With who do we say is playing tomorrow? The GWS Giants and Carlton at Manuka Oval there in Canberra. Home game for the Giants, so it should be pretty good. Should be a pretty good game. We'll see how both of those go tomorrow, and that is at 5:20 p.m. tomorrow, where that is the next game of the round. 10 to 20 days. Yeah, I think that's about right too. There, somewhere there. Usually I think they miss one match during the season, so it's somewhere there, somewhere around the 10-day mark, I think. but that's okay. Got to protect the players, make sure they're right for their long-term longevity, of their life. So you don't want their brains rattling around too much. Got to protect the players, that is for sure. All right, thanks very much, David. Thanks, everyone. We will probably see you tomorrow when the Giants take on Carlton. But tonight, it was the Adelaide Crows, 14-13-97, defeating the Lions, 13-6-94. The Lions, a little bit wayward in their kicking. They just need to straighten up that kicking. And they'll get the job done, I would say. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch everyone tomorrow. Have a fantastic Thursday evening.